surprise 一件事情哦，
啊，
我到那个99大华去买东西的时候，你猜我去 bump into 谁呀、
见面呀？
我 bump into 那个叶金波，
哦，
好好笑哦
你来消
呀！
费，哎呀，真好。
对呀、我根本已经十几年，差不多至少有他搬走了以后，我就没有见过他
他
了。
他到那个拉斯维加斯去看谁？哦哦，你在
不是，
西雅图哦，他在
我在
西雅
San
图。
Diego 那边
嗯
99大华碰到他，
嗯嗯嗯
然
啊，
后
好。
对对对，我
哎，
说呀，
你现在上网啦？我都好久没有，你是今天第一次来还是以前来过？
我以前有来过呀，我以前
哦，
有来过，
我看过
对
你，对对对。呀，
对
太高兴看到你了，不容易。
对呀对呀对呀对呀，
还打牌吗？
哎，有一个礼拜，我
哦，
在那个我们社区里面一个礼拜跟他们打2次牌，
哎呀，真
对
好，真好。
对对对，活动
你
很多，我们那边差不多有500个中国人呐、差不多
哦，真好，
有
真好。
五百个中国人，对
是不
呀，
是在 Las Vegas 啊
哈，
？Alice 现在是不是在 Las Vegas？
谁？你说
他
谁？
你
现在在访问，他在 visit 他的儿子在
哦，
我知道，
我现
San
在是
但
在我
是他本来住在哪，现在住在哪里？刚
我
才讲
住在
Las Vegas。
Henderson，
哦，你在 Henderson，OK，OK，我
对，
明白，OK，我明白，
我住在 Henderson，对
这是 OK，我明白，就是刚
你
才讲到
你说你是 Henderson 还是 Anderson？
Henderson，
那不
Henderson，Henderson，
那不就是眼里的那地方吗？
可是那个 Henderson 很大，OK，所以它
哦
有很多不同的 community，所以我不知道它是哪一个。我们是 Sun City Anthem 那个 community，如果他搬到这里来的话，我应该会知道他，我应该会见到他，因为
还没有
我觉得
见到他，就是。
对，所以我可能他是在 Henderson 的另外的什么 community 那边。
因为
呀，
他好像才过去啊，没有多久，这个几个礼拜的事情。
不是，
哦，
我以前问过严安利，我说你是不是那边有很多中文？他不是，他是另外一个地方。
那可能我们这边是，就是说，我们这边有7000户，我们这
哦
个 community 有7000户
哦，
哇哦，
，Yeah，很大的，嗯哼，所以就是说，就是说，你几乎你所需要的什么东西都在这个 community 都可以 provide 你了，嗯哼。
真好，真好。哎呀，
对对，那他们就是刚才在问我们的 community 怎么样，我说是不错，可是问题是我们在这里住，最后还是要想你下一个居所会在哪里。
夏天跟 Las Vegas 比怎么样？As hot as Las Vegas or cooler？
你说，
夏天 summer 的
San Diego
temperature，
跟 Las Vegas
不是
比。
哎
San
呦，那不
Diego，I'm
能
talking
比
about
啦。我
Henderson。
跟 Henderson 啊，我跟你讲，拉斯维加斯那边都是很热。我们
对，
夏天的3个月，从6月、7月、8月都是非常热，有时候都是在100度以上。可是
哦，
它，
厉害厉害。
对，
那他
前一阵子
们做什么？
因为很热的时候，都在一
就
百一
像我们这
十度、一
边零下
百一十
几度的
度以上
冬天一样，就在
呀。
家里。
但是它那个热是一种很干燥的热，就是没有不 human，就是很干。
不闷不闷，哎，
不，就是但是你从车子里走出来，或者你要走到 building 去的时候，你一出来之后，就像在那个 oven 里面一样，就是
哦
就是叫好像在桑拿里面那个样
哦
子。对
哦，
对对，很热很热，但是其他的9个月都非常好，那个气候都非常
就是
好。
那还
呀，
可以忍受。
对对对对，就是
很好，很好。
呀，来这里也是因为有朋友的关系啦，呀，才搬到这里来的啦，呀，
对，白碧都好吧，也常常见到面吧？你们住在
有常常见面，
哦，
对，常
很好。
常见面，呀，从我家到他家大概一个 mile 多一点，呀，
哦，
对对，
是好大。
是
王清华也在你这附近啊。
王庆华也在，对，
嗯，
他在乒乓球 club，我有时候去打乒乓的时候会看到他，
好像他跟白冰两个人常常打球啊。
有，呀，
真好。延琛过去了是吧？延琛走了。
延伸走了好几年哦，
嗯，
嗯。
好了。
不过这个 auto 很好啦， 他他他
你好。
他很快乐。
哦，哎呀，问一下 Edwin，嗨，你怎么在这
怎么样
会了解这么多呢？关于这个 BBB 这个事，
？Yeah，
对
因为是这跟我那个 background 有些关系，因为我是做 marketing research、marketing sales 方面的嘛，所以去年的时候，大概5、6月的时候，那个教会查经班的长老就问我，他说他们这些人一天到晚都听到这个 one big beautiful bill，what is a
对，
one big beautiful bill？在新闻上都听到都讲这个东西嘛，访问那些 senator、vice president 都是讲 this is a one very big beautiful bill，但是到底这个是什么东西？他就希望我去做些 research，跟那些财经班老人，那些老人讲解释这个东西，然后这个对 senior 有什么影响？所以就把这个题目做了，在去年11月多的时候，在那边 present，大概给50人这样，50 people 左右。Cynthia 他是需要这个讲员的话，我说这个东西已经做完了，可以 update 一下。他说好啊，我不知道这个题目对于大家讲会不会太 dry，因为这个东西，但 this is the law，所以不管怎么样，会影响我们的，因为 this is the law，tax、healthcare、nursing home，all this stuff 会有影响，所以就跟大家介绍一下呢，这个是个 information presentation，facts，不是 political presentation。
对，那个先不要讲，因为这个是等一下你才要讲的。
对，好，他问我就开始介绍为什么做这个东西嘛。
Yeah.
Hi everyone, how are you?
好，你谁呀？周大哥啊，
喊我名字就好，不要大哥、大姐的
周大爷，哎，好，你 invisible，you are invisible on the screen。Lily 你好，有个 AI 不知是谁，AI 也上来了，他会 fact check my
AI
fact，
还不认得啊，天天在
check
用
my fact，yeah。
哎，健行队的摄影师，哎，我是 Nancy。
哎，Nancy 你好，谢谢你来，明天会不会去走路啊？
哎，我的手已经好很多了，
很好。
然后我明天会去走路。
哦，wonderful，明天看你。
我的手已经好多了。
我不去，
我不去了，
哦，that's good。
那我也不要去。
明天不会，应该不会
太。
太热，明天是80度左右，70多80度左右。那个教林，对不起，教林那个汤大哥，现在要不要把那个 screens 弄出来 ？Make sure I have the screen。你觉得 ？Should I put on the share screen now or too early？
那也
哎，那
因为
个吴姨好久不见你啊！
哎，好久不见，周一来，明天我会去走路，就在附近。
很好，
顺便去买猪脚啦。
就这样，哈哈哈。
怎么看不到你的真面目嘞？只闻其声不见龙影啊！嗨，郭明，
哎，吴姨怎么这么巧？我看你穿的衣服跟我穿的衣服是同样一个 pattern。
我看不到你哎。
他是 invisible man，invisible man。
OK，嗨，OK。
不亮啊。
嗨，Rose，
嗨，
嗨，
好久不见。
好久不见。
他明天要去。
哦，
啊，那个洛什么就跟那个薛俊贤在一起了。
对，
对，
我在跟他在一起看。
They're having lunch。
Yeah,
right。
都要看得到在吃东西啊。
如果你开车开到GBCC 你会开吗？自己开？
哎呀，这太麻烦了。
别人到
我到我们的 gym 去就好了。明天如果当然我不去，如果接不到人的话，
嗯，
哦，2点钟了。
等一下啊，给我1
嗯
分钟。
OK，
You want me to load the screen?
Not yet, not yet.
Still not yet.
啊
Okay.
还没有
嗨，郭明，他是郭明。
啊，
你你看到那个易售景没有？你 mute 掉了，
no，
易售景举手啊
他没有 unmute。
，unmute，我那个什么，郭明，你要 mute，unmute，
Lily unmute。
公民在上面吗？
我看
呀，
到，Hi，Hello
哎
everyone，
嘿，公民，好久不见！
好久不见，易小姐。
耶耶，你好
嗨，
呀
吴玉。
可以开始了吗？
OK，
等一
可以了。
下啊，那个呃，
可以。
马上就好。
不是葛优梅要开场白一下子啊。
但
是
是我哦，
OK，葛优没开场白，葛优
他
没开
是老，
场
他是
白以后，那个
自由坛的
谁要
领导。
介绍，对不对？那个周一楠你要介绍，对不对？
对，
对对，我记得。
嗯，因为那个周一楠介绍，我要放一张照片。
那是 top secret，他现在不能放。
OK 呀
OK，那你说什么时候可以开始
，OK，那你就现在开始哈。
？OK，好，那大家好啊，今天的自由谈，我们非常高兴找到了 Edwin Tam 来跟我们讲 What a beautiful tax plan，what is it about？然后 What's the impact for seniors？所以对我们来说，到底差别在哪里？那我下面就请周一楠好好的介绍这个艾文。那个艾文跟我说，周一楠把他的肠子都挖出来了，所以应该
差不多。
非常清楚。OK，周一楠，你
OK，
来吧。
好，谢谢这个葛优梅领导。
啊，
他要我介绍这个Edwin，其实大家比较知道他叫 Edwin，很少人知道他的中文名字，而且也不好念，所以干脆就叫了 Edwin 就好了。OK，大家看到这张照片吧，这就是 typical Edwin。那这张照片是 Irene 张，就是李宁慧照的。李宁慧平常很少参加我们的践行，就那一天他刚好在，就是在那个 Milliman National Historical Park 那个门口，所以这个 Edwin 正在调他的 cell phone，要替大家照相，因为他不是长得特别高，所以他要站在椅子上，所以可以等于是取代了一半的那个 drone，就不需要那个。Anyway，这张照片是 typical Edwin，表示他非常认真负责，他不怕跌倒，因为他也毕竟也上了年纪人，就站在上面的。所以，Anyway，其实我认得 Edwin 是最近几年的事情，就自从我开始那个接这个践行组的 coordinator 以后，就比较有机会跟他在联络，然后就走路时候也跟他聊聊天。那他其实对元赫斯人可能对 GPC 都并不陌生，因为几年前在 COVID-19 期间，他跟他太太曾经去参加 cruise，结果吧回来以前就得了那个 COVID，而且还非常严重的，就是说表示他那时候替元赫社做了一个就是那个现身说法，讲了他的经历，还好是有惊无险，最后还是就是以前完全康复了。 那他今天要讲的就是，其实还有去年他也讲过他们去旅游的经验。那今天他讲的是跟他旅游的经验没有关系，而是另外一个完全不同的那个题材。那就是它主题就是讲，就是我们讲叫做是OBBBA，就是 One Big Beautiful Bill Act。那 Act 就是表示已经通过法律了，说 OBBBA。如果说你要 Google 找 OBBBA 的话，它就会告诉你是什么东西。Anyway，所以他今天要谈的我要介绍他的是他其实是念工毕业的，化工系毕业的，然后就拿了 MBA，所以今天以他这个那个的背景来讲我们这个应该是很有用。那他现在已经退休了，跟他太太一起都已经退休了。那他退休以前做过 Director Marketing and New Business Development。Responsible for sales, marketing, and new business. 可是他没有告诉我是哪一家公司，这都不重要，已经是过去的事。那 Edwin 平常很热心服务，不管是教堂，或者是社区，或者是就是 industry。他曾经做过替教堂做过那个 photographer， 就照相，也替他们帮忙编过杂志，也教过 Sunday School， 也在教会做过usher， 也做过这个就是那个 meal service 的 kitchen helper， 也做过这个 HR， 就是 human resources 的 committee。In industry, he served as scholarship committee and various committee board members. Edwin is also very active in community volunteers for Boston Marathon。我不知道那个 Edwin 你是 volunteer， 你自己有没有跑过啊？
没有。
Usher for several theaters。然后他又参加了，就是 board member for the Friends of Council on Aging， 就是我们正好是符合我们这些七老八十的人。You serve in senior dining minutes take for several town committees。平常嘛，他是个人是喜欢看电影，他都是 watch sports， 也喜欢 hiking， 喜欢 music， 喜欢 art and theater。他平常就是他算是他以前讲过，他已经是全美国50州他都去过了，然后全世界其他国家也去过，好像是几十个国家的，所以他可以算是旅游达人，就是我们你们讲说平常是对旅游很有经验的。今天很高兴这个 Edwin 要替我们谈谈这个 OBBA。那特别要强调说什么叫做 OBBBA。那他就是说谁会受益，就是说 Who are the winners or the losers， 谁会受害，然后对老年人有什么影响，还有最后这个新法律会替国家，就是大概要花多少钱，就是大家也知道现在全美国的那个欠国债已经是超过40个 trillion， 就是40乘以10的12次方。这个数目字相当于一个70公斤的美国人的大肠里面的那个微生物的总数，就是比我们一个平均70公斤的人的人体里面的细胞还要多一点。OK，Edwin。
我就把那个 screen share。Let me see here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. 好。不在。What happened to it? You see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. 有个 slideshow beginning。disclaimer 就是呢，我这个东西从 public information 拿出来的，在这边是 educational， 因为这些 information，大多数都是 facts is already implemented， 这个 act 已经 implement， 但是呢，我关于 tax 方面，关于 accounting， 我也没有 legal， 我也不是 attorney， 所以这些东西对于你们的 tax 有什么影响，你就找 accountant 或 financial advisor。最后今天不要把它 record， 就因为如果有些 misinformation 的话，我也不希望有人找我告我。OK， 我讲这个OBBBA 是什么东西，谁 benefit 谁 lose out， 对 senior 有什么 impact， 对 social security， 对 tax， 对 healthcare 有其他东西有什么 impact。然后呢，我就 最近這幾個星期再去找一些 information。After 1 year, what happened？ 當然啦，這個 act is not free. Is that going to be benefit for the whole country, or is it going to be negative impact？ 我們再可以討論一下。剛才周大哥有講到這個 national debt 啊。What about our national debt? There's no free lunch. 我們知道，最後就是 final thoughts and summary 啊。我的 slide 全都是英文的啊，所以不介意的話。好，跟我講這個東西 ，this is not a political presentation。不管你是 Republican、Democrat 或 Independent， 不重要了。現在因為已經 pass， 這個 law 已經 pass，so we just want to discuss and understand what is this law is all about， and 對我們有什麼影響，對國家有什麼影響，這最重要啊。Let's take a look at the vote。這個 vote 開始是從那個 House of Congress、House of Representative 開始的啊，那個 final vote 是215 to 214 with 3 abstain, so it passed by 1 vote. The bill to the Senate, it passed by 1 vote. Again, it's 51 votes, yes, 50 no. It barely passed. 但是呢 Senate 有個 amendment. So because of the amendment, they go back to the House of Representatives. So they revoke the amendment. 这次呢 the 3 abstain the person went into the yes vote. So it passed by 4 votes. So 218 to 214. So it's barely passed. Just keep that in mind, it's barely passed. But it's not a surprise, 因为现在 Republican control both the Congress, House of Representatives, and Senate. So any bill is pushed by the president, most likely will pass. 好，这个 title 不是 call One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Those people, senator, politician, they like to call it One Big Beautiful Bill. 真正的 title 是 to provide for reconciliation pursuant to Title 11 of House of Congress Resolution number 14. That nobody will remember this, right? Everybody remembers One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Is passed in 119 U.S. Congress last year. Is introduced, surprisingly, it's not someone I know, it's not a well-known guy, Jody Arlington, Republican from Texas, on May 16, 2025. So the bill introduced 以後呢，就很快就通過。還有呢，通常這些 bill committee need to recommend and pass it. To get on to the committees is very difficult. So if the bill went on the committee, it passed by 1 vote. Again, May 18, 2025, the House of Budget Committee voted 17 to 16, recommended to House of Representatives for voting. 但我剛才講到 the sequence, then at the end, bill introduced May 16 by July 4th, right at July 4th, before the July 4th weekend, it's signed by the President Trump. So what is this One Big Beautiful Act? 當然，所有的 bill, you have some winner and you have some loser. So it should not be a surprise who are the winner and who are the loser, understanding the current administration. The winner, number 1, is defense. This increase 153 billion is 10 years. 这 number 都是 10 years 的哈。Surprisingly, the biggest amount of money they're going to allocate to 33.7 billion in shipbuilding, building all the warship. We all know that there is a new aircraft carrier coming up, and they're thinking about changing the name to Donald Trump. Okay, so shipbuilding is the biggest allocation of this money. followed by the Golden Dome missile defense system, 25 billion. 炮弹啊、子弹啊、munition 啊、那些 rocket 啊 20.4 billion. Any nuclear deterrence, radar, whatever, almost 13 billion. Military readiness, 这个是那个 training 啊，那些东西啊，exercise 啊 almost 12 billion. 然后呢 there is 7.5 billion improvement for military in terms of housing, healthcare, childcare, and education, which is good. This one's good. Then B-21 bomber get additional 4.5 billion to accelerate production. So next 10 years, we're going to spend 153 billion more on defense. Second one, again, should not be a surprise, is on border control, homeland security, and so on. $150 billion going to be on it. 1/3 of it, 50 billion, go to the war. A lot of money for the war. Then almost another 1/3 go to detention center, more detention center. Then 27 billion on deportation. Then 8 billion is hire more ICE and Homeland Security officer, immigration officer, and so on. Total is $150 billion, the winner. Who get less money? You put more money somewhere else, you gotta take money somewhere else. There's two biggest losers. The first one is Medicaid. Now, don't get confused with Medicaid with Medicare. Medicaid, there's no age limit. It's mainly on income and poverty level and so on. 在 Massachusetts, 白卡，很多我们的教会朋友，尤其中国大陆来的父母 they all have 白卡，因为是 income related. In the next decade, next 10 years, close to 12 million people going to be losing Medicare because of the tightened rule and so on. In addition, they're going to require each 55 to 64. If you're on Medicaid, you don't have to show any work, do any work. Now there's a requirement that you have to do 80 hours per month work or volunteering to qualify. And there's more eligibility check, which is good because there's a lot of fraud here. And there is any clinic that support abortion, they will not get funding. Payment to the state going to be much tighter, means less money going to the state on Medicaid and so on. The budget office, Congress budget office estimated there will be saving of $1 trillion in the next 10 years because of the cut. Now, because of the cut, currently it will affect approximately 83 million low-income children and adults. Okay. 大家都知道，在 Medicaid 裏面，真正有些人真係有啲需要，但是也有 fraud， 所以我們不如因為 fraud 的話就覺得這樣好。They will afford the poverty, the people will get affected. I look at this number, I was surprised. They affect 1 of 5 Americans will get affected. So 美國雖然很有錢啊，但是有蠻多人也是生活在 poverty level 下面。I believe poverty level is like 63,000 in income and below. That's qualifies poverty level. A lot of seniors now getting Social Security, we are on poverty level. The other big loser, 就是 food stamp. SNAP. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, a big cut, very big cut. The shift on food stamp going to be shifting a lot to the state to help food assistance. There will be a requirement on work hour, as I mentioned, 55 to 64 and so on. And there's 2 state exam on it, Alaska and Hawaii, not sure why. and they estimate the saving is 300 billion. So there's a lot of people is on food stamp. Hello? 好，我們再看看 tax. So what is that affecting tax? Both individual and family. First of all, the standard deduction going to increase. I'll give you a little bit more detail as I move forward. Single now is a standard deduction for single person, $15,750. For joint, a return, $31,500. Mortgage interest limit now is limited to up to $750,000 on the interest, up to $750,000. SALT, which is a sales for sales tax and local tax deduction, raised from 10,000 to 40,000. 对于马省来讲 this is a plus because 马省的 tax and so on 蛮高的。529 plan 就是这个 education plan raised from 10,000 to 20,000, and 那个 rule change loosen up a lot on the rule. 有些人问，这个我们的小孩就大了，为什么529 plan 对我们有影响？ Actually, you can set up a 529 plan for your grandchildren, and you can contribute on that. 529 plan for those who want to contribute to the grandkids' education, that will be affected. 下面 child tax credit 当然对我们没有影响，change increase to 2,200 child, and then EV clean vehicle credit 去年 September 30 cancel 就没有这个 credit on tax. OK， 看看 senior 怎么样 ？Senior 来講 tax 嘅話呢，就 income tax deduction. Senior get $6,000 more. Last year you should have 6,000 more on your file income tax, and so on. But you have to be 65 and older. 55可能不算了哈。Then you will be eligible for this additional $6,000. It doesn't matter you're taking standard deduction or you're itemizing your deduction. 但是这$6,000有 income limit. If you are single file, it's $75,000 up to, then you can deduct the full amount. You have full amount. Joint is up to 150,000. You can get partial deduction if you are between 150,000 to 250,000. 所以如果 joint file is more than 250,000, 这边也有可能有人就 250,000, and you don't need the $6,000. 好 State and local tax, as I mentioned, it increased from 10,000 to 40,000. If you file, marry file, separate return, it's just feel like single, it's only $20,000. 这个是对于 itemize deduction 这些来讲是很大的帮助，尤其是 I mentioned, especially for high tax state like Massachusetts or California and so on. Itemized deduction 有個 major overhaul. Now, 你講 itemized deduction 為什麼我們在這邊講呢？因為雖然有些人退休了，但是他們可能是 landlord， 可能還有 small business， 或者可能做 consulting 啊等等。So they might deduct the home office, they might deduct the car, a partial, some kind of professional dues. They go to conference, they still go to conference. There's business expense and so on. They used to be able to deduct that. Now that is completely wiped out. No longer the case. No longer the case. And it's also subject to 2% of the alternate AGI or I'm not, up to 2% AGI. 好，mortgage is $750,000，好像很多。$750,000在南部比較少嘅地方可能會 OK， 住在 Newton， 住在 Lexington and so on， 房子 a lot of them over a million。但是呢，它這個 law you can deduct the mortgage on the first $750,000。我記得以前我供我小孩子去大學的時候，他們去private university, I got home equity loan quite a few times. I can deduct the interest. Now, this is not allowed anymore, which is unfortunate because some of the people who are really paying for college now, if they get a home equity loan, they're not able to do that anymore. Charitable contribution deduction will change。咱們算呢這個是一個例子，不表示我們這邊有人有 income 2 million 但是我找到這個 example， 這個 chart 剛剛是2 million。2 million 當然there's a 0.5% is amount that you have to take out from your charitable contribution。舉個例子，這個人he make $2 million, he's gonna make $100,000 for church for charitable contribution. That's a 0.5% exclusion. That means the $2 million, he's gonna multiply that by 0.5, that's $10,000. So 他真正能夠 deduct is no longer 100,000. In the past, you can deduct 100,000 on that charitable contribution. Now you can only deduct 90,000. 所以但是呢 there's a tax rate offset， 因為這個 tax bill change the tax rate, which I show you later on slides。它以前 before this bill， 它的 tax saving 是 37,000， 現在的 tax saving 因為就 10,000 taken out， it's only 31,500。所以呢這個 charitable contribution 也有 impact to the way your tax saving 還是有，但是沒有以前這麼厲害。What does that mean in planning? In planning 的話 for those people who might have a lot of charitable contribution, who might have a lot of medical bill, who might have a small business, consulting, rental, whatever expense that is still legal, you might think about bunching it. What does that mean by bunching it? 舉個例子好了，你一年來你嘅 medical expense in terms of itemized deduction is not a big impact， 但它2年來加起來可能number 比較大，所以 let's say you schedule surgery, schedule any kind of medical expenses, you're gonna fix your hip or hip, maybe you want to do it all at that 1 year. Now you have a much bigger bill, and then you have better deduction. 這就是一個 planning。好 ，estate tax 對於有些人講是重要哈。這個 it raised from 12 million to 15 million estate tax. So that's good. And also 對於 spouse 這個 tax 方面也有幫助。You know, it's also apply for generation skipping transfer， 可能你說給兒子給孫子之類的東西，所以這個 estate tax raise higher， 對於有些have a large savings and so on 有幫助。We already talked about 529 plan. 529 plan, we can set up 529 plan for our children, grandchildren, grandchildren, and it raised from 10,000 to 20,000. 以前是用在 college, now you can use it for K-12 tuition expenses and other expenses that related to education. So 不一定需要用在這個college 方面 including materials and so on. So the rule have loosened for the 529 plan. clean vehicle credit, EV car, and those guys, those all phase out in September 30, 2025. And you cannot get that deduction anymore. So that affects the people who want to buy Tesla and so on. They would not be able to tax deduction. Tax rate. Before they go one beautiful act bill, if you're in 49,000 to 119,000, which a lot of us fall into this category, your tax rate 25%. With the new tax bill, that the number changed a little bit to 50,000, it dropped from 25 to 22%. This is for individual taxpayer, for widow and so on. So it does have a lower tax rate with this new bill. What about joint married couple filed jointly? Again, most of us will be fall into 24,000 to 98,000 plus. That is a 15% tax rate. Now, for the same amount, that tax rate dropped 3%, dropped to 12%. So last year, partially I got credit because the tax rate going to certainly there's a full effect of this tax rate. Standard deduction， 我剛才有談到 standard deduction。以前那個我們講那個 standard deduction 2025 2026對吧？是 standard deduction for seniors, which senior we talk a little bit later. 2026 single 的话呢是8,300 single file. That number standard deduction jumped to 16,550. Married couple before the bill 16,000 plus change, changed to 33,100. So it's a much bigger standard deduction. Chances are, because of this change, for most of us who file, let's say, married jointly, most of us, our standard deduction probably do it. We probably don't do itemization unless you have a lot of medical expense and some other expense that you need to do. 好，所以呢，这个 bill changed the way some people think about estate planning, think about the state and local tax deduction, and so on. 當然有些其他人可能有 business income 啊，或者 bonus 啊，這些東西對他們嘅影響也蠻多啦。好，on 這個 healthcare, how is that going to affect us healthcare? What does that mean for Medicare? 這個 bill increased the number of drug exempt from price negotiation. Exempt. That means because exempt, the overall drug cost for Medicare will increase. The out-of-pocket cost is going to be increased. You know, if they exempt some of the drug. If they exempt, means the drug company can charge anything to the government, and that money going to pass on to us. So we expect some drug costs will increase. The second thing, there is a $500 billion Medicare cut. 我們都聽到很多時候就we're not touching Medicare, we're not touching Social Security. In reality, they have to cut it. 因為呢，這個 federal budget deficit increased so much, it triggered an automatic $500 billion cut in Medicare, which is required by law on the federal budget. So expect there's a $500 billion Medicare cut, which affecting us means it will affect our premium, copay, hospital stay, operation, and so on. It will be here. as we move forward. This cut will be across the board for how Medicare pay hospital, how they pay doctor, and other healthcare provider. So this is coming. This is coming. On top of that, if they are cutting all these costs, it might affect some of the smaller hospital in a rural area or healthcare facility, which financially they're not that great. And then it might push them over the edge. Then they might close some of those hospitals, especially in smaller town and rural area. We talk about the Medicaid BICA, low income. They're gonna cut funding over $1 trillion for 10 years, $1 trillion. 所以呢，因为这样的话呢，这个 healthcare they expect uninsured people increase by 15 million over the same period. 太贵了，不买 healthcare 了啊。Overall, the cost of healthcare will definitely increase. Coverage. Some of the benefit may got cut on 65 and younger than 65. And some of the people who are younger than 65 might not even qualify because of the rule. We talk about that they also have to work from age 55 to 64. They have to do either work 80 hours a month or volunteer work for 80 hours to qualify. Also, not be a bad thing for some people, may be a bad thing for some, may not be a bad thing for others, that they may have copay and share some of the cost. Because if you cut $1 trillion, you're going to get money somewhere else. All right, what about the healthcare and so on affecting states? Means the federal will give state much less money. In return, the state will cut back on benefit. For example, we already seen California already cutting women, infant, children, already cut $58 million. Texas and some program cutting already, and other education funding in California cutting in at 83. So state, because of federal government, will continue to be cutting their costs because they might have to pay a little higher share Medicaid, and then and they might not have enough money, raise enough taxes to cover those shortfall. We heard about private plan for retirement. Yeah, there is a private plan. Thinking about a lot of talk about a private plan, and we also know that you can buy this healthcare insurance through private insurance through Mass Connect. Friends who buy Mass Connect because they're not qualified for Medicare yet. They're too young, 62. They have to buy a couple of years in affordable care. In Massachusetts, called Mass Connect. Those premiums will go up because the Congress giving they less money, federal government giving less money, and the state have to raise the premium. The estimate will be at least $500 more per person each year to cover that shortfall. About health, hospital, and so on, etc., already getting raising the cost by Medicare or Medicaid, and some of the people may not be able to pay. If they don't pay, then that means the rest of us have to pay to cover them, and so on. It's also for those hospitals that are financially not that great because forced to close. That means there's less competition. Less competition means more. We already see it in Massachusetts. Mass General, for example, bought Emerson. Leahy Leahy got bought out by Beth Israel, and so on. So now there's bigger hospital, bigger group, and less competition. Price will go up. Nursing home care. In Biden administration, there's a minimum staffing standard for nurse and nurse aides. But that rule had been gone now with the new administration. That means the nursing home now can cut costs to have less staff, less nurse aide, less nurse to do nursing home because of profit. So this is unfortunate. This is unfortunate. Social Security benefit. Well, first, a lot of people misunderstand that you don't have to pay tax on Social Security, which is not the case. In Massachusetts, you don't have to pay the state income tax on Social Security, but you still have to pay the 1040, the federal income tax. The rule now is if you increase somewhat, if you are, this is a marginal tax rate after all this interest and also your dividend or added in and so on, the marginal tax rate is the AGI, or what they call it, for single. If under 25,000, you don't have to pay. Under $32,000 joint return, you then you go to the next bracket, you will pay 50%. If you make more than, if you file more than 44,000 for joint return, then it's 85% taxable. In the past, that number has always been 85%, but the number may not be over 44,000. As I recall, in the past, it's like 35,000 return. So almost most of us, if both you and your wife are collecting Social Security, chances are that 85% you have to pay federal income tax, but you don't have to pay Massachusetts income tax. Well, we all know that this is a philosophical. We all know that the new law projected to cost Social Security $169 billion in the next 10 years. Not only that, we all know that the baby boom are getting older. The younger generation, they don't have as many kids, that not as many people contributing to the Social Security fund. So there will be a shortfall in the long run, and we all know that. Now, how is that going to be affecting us? Are they going to cut Social Security? I mean, everyone who runs for president or running for Congress, they always say they don't touch Social Security. Even though they don't touch it, there's going to be a shortfall. What are they going to do about making up the shortfall? And how are they going to address it in the long run? So this is a really hot potato within the Congress. Unfortunately, this is an issue have never resolved in the last 10 years. There's always a lot of debate, no action. Privatization, we talk about, they also talk about privatizing Social Security. I'm not sure it's talk, but there is a new account for retirement for your children, your grandchildren, grand-grandchildren. It's a term account. It started in July this year. And you can open a term account. It is called a term account. $1,000 for your grandkid, each grandkid if you want to. And then Michael Dell, for Dell Computer, okay, a lot of money. And he's going to match it from his endowment, $1,000. So you get $1,000 free to open up each of your grandchildren's account. And or you can have the parent to open it, and that is free money. And that money, it is not really like an IRA, I think, but it is somewhat. I forgot it's tax deferred, I believe. It's not 529, but you can use it like education. You can use it for retirement. You can do something else. And I'm not sure how this tax. I need to look into it. But right now, you open that. The door is open. You can get $1,000 free. Let's skip that. And we already talked about that there will be a big impact for healthcare premium, especially for those who are making so-called the federal poverty threshold, which is $62,757. And then they will see the biggest increase in the healthcare premium if they're buying the Affordable Care Act or Mass Connect in the increase will be as much as $5,800 per year. So I think in a nutshell, we're seeing that the bill reduced some of the spending on Medicaid and food stamp. It increased on some of the spending. The big one are the Homeland Security and also on defense. So the bill, this is a calculation last year, said it will increase gross domestic product by 1.2% in the long run. They say it's due to changes in business tax. Now, I think we have to look at this number very carefully, whether it's going to increase the gross domestic product. The bill also expects decrease revenue by $4.45 trillion over 10 years by reducing $1.1 trillion over 10 years on spending. Reduce spending 1.1, but the revenue also go down 4.45 trillion. And we count all the zero for trillion. It's a lot of zero. Okay, if you look at the tax return for, let's say, what is this bill mean? Walton School, UPenn, did a calculation estimate that on average, for those people who are making less than $50,000 per year, again, you file income tax on your AGI, less than $50,000, you actually pay more tax. But anyone above that, I think most of us will join with the Social Security and so on, will be about 50,000. There will be a tax benefit. The more money you make, the higher the number, as usual. But about most of us probably will be between 51,000 per less than 174,000. This two bracket. But there is some tax saving with this bill. What happened after 1 year? Now it's past 1 year now. Food stamp enrollment, not surprising, have declined 4 million people since July last year up to around March this year. Some of the biggest decline in some of those states, poor states, and I'm a little bit surprised about Texas, maybe because of the border with Mexico. They dropped 16%, Louisiana 1%, and Arizona 50%. Big drop. But we also know that every dollar you take out from food stamp, there's less than $1.50 out of circulation on a broader economy. It means that the people have less money to buy things. So you also drop the people who spend money. On top of that, because of food stamp, the USD doesn't even collect number anymore on the state level. So it's harder to track this number now as we move forward. Healthcare. So healthcare, the law did not extend this ACA marketplace premium credit. That was set at the end of 2025. As you recall, there was a news about Congress fighting. They were fighting on this with the president on his funding on ICE and so on because of this, and that was expired last year. There's rejected after 1 year, over 5 million Americans will let the healthcare expire, and probably will not have money to buy healthcare. Now, with that said, it's not going to cost us because if they got sick, they go to the emergency room. By law, they got to be treated, but they have no health insurance. So ultimately, the money will pass on to higher costs for us or higher tax. The monthly premium have changed from $113 to $178 this year, a 50% increase. There's a lot. They think the law also said they're going to reduce spending, reduce the support this. A lot of them backloaded, means as you go years, from 2026 to 2035, next 10 years, they are going to reduce $1.2 trillion starting 2027. So you're going to hit more on this in 2027. State budget, certainly we're seeing shortfalls because of federal support to the state in a bunch of things, education, in terms of healthcare, food stamp, and so on, etc. That means that will put the burden on the state and local level. And now we are seeing a lot of strain in some of the state and some of the smaller city. Over time, it doesn't affect most of us, almost all of us, and there is no tax on certain amount, 25,000 joint account, that's poverty level, there's no tax. On tips, we heard about that. That's one of the advertising on campaign, they don't tax people on tips. Up to 25,000 deduction on qualified tips, and so on. So now means that tips they don't report, they don't pay taxes, even up to 25,000. What about Massachusetts? We talk about state income tax because you go from 10,000 to 40,000. Then because high tax here, if you do itemized deduction, that helps. Also help for those small business and so on. And if you own a business or rental property, some of you may still do, and there's 100% bonus depreciation, you can do it 1 year rather than do it multiple years now. So this is a new change. You need to depreciate that property. We talk about ACA premium, it went up. SNAP program have cut. Massachusetts, both the premium for Mass Connect and also SNAP and so on cut. Massachusetts tend to help in some of those areas. So for those people who depend on Mass Connect or food stamp or Medicaid, the hit is not as high as some of the other states. But nationally, we talk about the food stamp have dropped almost 4 million people. And deficit, this is not just deficit, have increased over 3 trillion. And with interest payment over 500 billion or more. And I have a graph on some of those numbers and so on. Just like our national debt is $40 trillion today. Debt. Let's talk about the debt. It's a big weight on all of us. A lot of time we don't see it, but we all carry it. And we carry it, that means that's going to affect some of the services the government going to give us, including Medicare, including transportation, road service, and so on. So currently our budget, some of you may not know, our federal budget, $7.4 trillion, $7.4 trillion. However, we have the budget, we plan to spend 7.4, but our checkbook doesn't balance. Our checkbook, we can only project to get $5.6 trillion in revenue. That means there's an annual deficit this year of close to $2 trillion. That's 26% of the budget. That's very high. I think we all trying to balance our checkbook. This checkbook is not balanced. It is not balanced. For the first October to September, October last year to September this year, the government already spent $6.3 trillion, but only collect $4.5 trillion in revenue. So we spend much more than we can collect. What are the top 10 categories we spend on? Social Security, not surprising, is 22% of that budget because Social Security is kind of funny. I thought we pay for most of it. We deduct from our payroll, right? But it's $22 the government have to pay to Social Security, $540 billion this year. Medicare, 16% of the total budget. Interest that we have to pay is 14% because the government printed all this T-bill and so on. I owe you. People buy that and they have to pay interest. So that's interest payment is 14%. Defense is 14%. And other health, like other health costs, 14%. And food stamp, 9%. Veteran benefits, 6%, and so on. And there is a mandatory spending, and there's the discretionary spending. 40% of the discretionary spending is on defense. It's out of the $1.9 trillion. The mandatory $4.2 trillion are related to Medicare, Social Security, food stamp, and so on, etc. Oh, the mandatory, including if you work for the government and military on retirement, that's a mandatory spending. That means that it's very difficult to cut those numbers. What does that mean on GDP? You look at the GDP starting from 2020, we already spend more than our gross national product. Over the years, the number continued to climb up. Now we're spending 22.6% over our gross national gross GDP. That's not good. You want the number to be below 100, but it's never the case for the last since 2020. All right, this number is out of date already. Our current debt is 40 trillion. It just hit the number, 40 trillion, and so on. So I think that is a very interesting number. With almost 4 trillion is because of half of is because of interest payment. All right, well, let's look at the debt itself. Oh, we don't see it. Not all of us don't really look at those numbers, right? In 2017, the national debt was 19.9 trillion. In 2022, that number reached 30 trillion. And since then, we reached from 30 trillion to 40 trillion in 2026. With the current path, we're going to reach 50 trillion in 6 years. And that will affect our economy, our spending, and services as we move forward. The number is just too high. Now, if you look at the debt since Clinton onwards, that number had continued to go up. It's just looking at January 2000, what is that number? For every 10 years in January, what is that number? In Bill Clinton, actually, Bill Clinton at that time, surprisingly, he's really a negotiator. He did not add more debt and more debt at all. At that time, the national debt 5.7 trillion. Obama in January at that year, in January 20, is 12.3 trillion. 10 years later, Donald Trump, President Trump, 23.2 trillion. This number continue to go up, so every president is at fault. Biden jumped to 33.9 trillion. And January 2025, that number was 36.3 trillion. January 2026, January 25 is under President Trump, and January 2026 also under President Trump. January is 39.5 trillion. Today, this number is 40 trillion. So under President Trump's 2 terms, the national debt actually increased by almost 12 trillion. Biden, 4 years, increased 8.4 trillion. So they both at fault. The One Big Beautiful Act could add 4.7 trillion on top of this. Recently, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent talked about they want to reduce the deficit by GDP of 3% by 2028, from 6% and so on. But when Trump took office, that number have changed. The deficit from 3% went up to 6% on GDP. So it's really moving in the wrong direction. And part of that is because of the war in Iran, tariff refund, and other tax cut. So we know over the long run, this deficit is going to change fiscal policy. It probably change Social Security, going to affect Medicare, it's going to affect defense, and other services we get from the government. Why is this a concern? Yes, we should be concerned about it because rising borrowing could fuel inflation, squeeze out budget priority, don't have money to do another thing, and leave the U.S. more vulnerable to domestic emergency and global turmoil. One of the things I learned is no longer the case that one of the biggest investors of T-bill is China. But I think since then they have changed the policy. I think they're dumping a lot of T-bill now. But that means the China buy a lot of T-bill. Rising debt means higher interest payment and mounting fiscal pressure. Nobody want to cut anything, right? And the interest payment in the first 10 months, the number is staggering. Just paying the federal interest debt is $931 billion first 10 months in 2026. This becomes the 3rd largest federal budget item, surprising defense. We pay more on interest debt than on defense. So again, all this is going to be underscore how the federal government going to give service to citizens like us. All right, so I think this is the interest payment is close to $1 trillion that we have to pay. It's amazing. This is already passed. Okay. This projection we talk about today is 40 trillion, easily 50 trillion in 5 years, 60 trillion in 10 years, 100 trillion by 2048, which by that time, our children, our grandchildren have to worry about those numbers. So the number is certainly not sustainable at the rate we are going. Well, the Margaret Spelling, CEO of the Bipartisan Policy Center, said, our current fiscal trajectory is plainly unsustainable. That is even the best scenario. Even in the rosiest scenario, we're spending toward a cliff and refusing to turn the wheel. All right. The biggest concern is of the $1 trillion interest payment a year. Mark Goldman of the Committee for the Responsible Federal Budget that our debt is adding more debt. The debt on top of that, every president adding more debt, is a vicious cycle that fuel inflation, raise borrowing costs, and strain household budget. So the dynamic worked is rising debt and persistent deficit push investors to demand higher treasury yield, which increase the government's borrowing costs. Those higher yield then push up interest rate for mortgage, car loans, commercial borrowing, business investment, and so on, etc. So, and leaving us in the business would foot the bill. So the $14 trillion is not on the book. It goes down to economy. It goes down to our pocket one way or another, because someone had to pay for it, on paying for that interest. I didn't have this slide. Yes. Okay. Summary. Who benefit? Most of the benefit on the tax. And some people are high deduction for children for 529, traditional car manufacturing because of EV credit is no longer there. Worker will receive tips over time. People lose out. Medicaid, the white card, SNAP program, and anyone who wants to get that tax deduction EV. I also know that for those who do solar, for example, they might get benefit for state level, but they don't get the deduction on the federal income tax on solar anymore. 40 trillion, how much we owe each person here, each person in here listening to this, we each owe at the present time $117,000 and 339, 117,000 per person. That number will continue to climb as long as our national debt continue to climb. So let's see. Oh, this is all I have. Any question that I can answer? I just 睡着了。Time to wake up. 什么问题？
We should all go to the restaurant, wait on table, get tips, no tax.
So anyway, I have a question, actually a comment. You talk about reduction in Medicaid assistance, and because of the widespread fraudulent.
Fraud is one of them, but also they have to get the money somewhere to fund the other stuff, right?
I'm going to make a comment because I know for sure that the people living on Moody Street in Waltham, they used to be called Crowning Department Store, but then they transformed it into apartment building or condos. Now, many of those residents coming from China, somehow they got onto those. And the worst thing is when people talk about this, they say, "Oh, 你们从台湾来，你们不拿白不拿." That kind of mentality, it really, really kills me. I know that in order to sponsor somebody from foreign country, especially in this case in China, because when I was still at BU Medical School, I personally sponsored a family. First it is the husband and then the whole family. And I had to fill out all kinds of forms, attest or certify that I would support this person and then support his family until they have the. So I know that there's a law there, but somehow during the execution, when they review the applications, somehow those guys never really pay attention to it. They thought, "Oh, that's not my money, so it's government money." So they try to be generous. 太大方了一点, yeah. So eventually you have a whole bunch of those people. It's really crazy because we are paying tax and those people are getting, a free ride. But
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree, but in reality, there's also a lot of Americans that are living in subsidy. The one who born here. You go to down south, you go to Alabama, you go to Mississippi, you go to New Orleans. Look at some of the living conditions. Those are born here. They really need those money.
No call for that. The law is designed to help poor people. I know, but
I know
people who immigrated into this, and they had actually when they came, their official sponsors, usually their sons or daughters. But when they arrive in this country, they turn around and then apply for all kinds of systems.
Yeah, you're right. It's very troubling. Because they could not check. They all know what to do. They put in almost no money in the checking account, and they cannot check any of the money in China. They might get a retirement money in China. They may own 5 houses in Shanghai and Beijing. We cannot check on that.
No. The point is not that, because when their son or daughter or some other relative sponsor them, they had to guarantee that they would pay for their financial needs.
You are right. I don't disagree with you.
Saying, I sponsor somebody from China, and I had to fill out the form. I had to sign it before.
I think that is really what we call execution in the law. I think that I give you one example of what I learned as I travel and meet people and ran into either classmate friends. Australia used to be like that, like us, free for immigrants. They find out we bankrupt them.
Yeah.
All the new immigrants coming in, doesn't matter from China, Hong Kong, whatever, or some of the other of Africa, they all apply for assistance. So what they have done is that by law, they have to make it law. First 5 years, you come to Australia, you cannot apply for anything, including Medicare, including healthcare, including any subsidy. People who sponsor you have to pay for it. It cut down a lot of the fraud. But we are not good at that. It's just like the Congress is not. It's very bad in that area. It makes you angry. You're right. We pay for it. They get white card. My health insurance is very high. They got white card. They don't have to pay anything, and they will tell you America is great. I don't have to pay anything. In China, I have to pay everything, and so on. So you know that even a church, for example, where people sign people up for this program to exercise 5 days a week. 新天地啊，什么你看到有些看到那些 they go to Moody Street and pick up the senior, and they tell them it's free, and they bill the government. Doesn't matter whether they need the service or not. They sign them up. They go to there and do some exercise and have lunch and send them back. It's all from this Medicaid program. So it's unfortunate. You're right. But I think at the same time, we realize that people are really poor.
The other example is, anyway, the other example is so-called adult daycare center. And I read the story that somewhere in New York City or in LA, that you have so many of those adult daycare center. Now, these are all supported by government funding.
Oh yeah, that's
So
what I
this
talk
is
about. That's
abuse,
what I want to talk
it's
about. Don't
abuse
care.
of the system.
Yeah, that's what I talk about. They sign them up. We used to have someone from church sign up every newcomer and tell them it's free. So it's unfortunate. I tell you, there are things in the U.S. It's almost impossible to change because the Congress is deadlocked in everything. Immigration, this type of thing is all deadlocked. So it's cutting it. I think enforcing cutting it is good. But at the same time, it does affect some people really need it.
Well, I think in the past, when the federal government shouldered most of this, then the state and the local government, they really don't care. They try to be 很大方. But now by cutting down that and by shifting some of the costs to the states, then the local government and the state government, they would have to tighten the review of the eligibility of these applications. And I think that's really to me, that's how you can eliminate most of the fraudulent cases. And all for the support of real people who really in need of assistance.
Yes.
All for that, yeah.
But the law have too many holes. The law have too many holes. It's not enforcing. I give you one example. When I presented October last year, I'm not going to name who. The person came to me at the meeting with the group, and after the meeting, telling me that I have exaggerated the deficit. I asked how, and then he showed me the number on the tariff they collect. He said the tariff will cover all the deficit.
Sure.
So, and I don't know what to say. I think if I try to reason with the guy, but I don't think he said that this presentation was biased because I did not say that the tariff can cover all the deficit. Okay. Then we all know that tariff to go back to the consumer now. So, any questions? Again, I'm just trying to present the fact, not to be any political and so on. And I think Annie's is here. She's the one who moved to Henderson, I think. We're talking about you earlier.
That's correct. Thank you.
And you didn't tell us about it. You sneak out of the town.
Well, I announced it in Yunhe meeting.
Oh, I wasn't.
Yeah, you were not
wasn't
there.
there. Wasn't there.
呀，郭明你好，很开心看到你。
大家觉得这个 I just curious about people's reaction about the national debt. I know that we are old, but that means our children and our grandchildren have carried this weight.
Yes.
Isn't that right? And then we are in a Chinese culture all along. Our parents teach us to balance the checkbook.
Yeah.
And now the checkbook is like 30% have to pay interest. That's just like, you look at the number, your head explode. Your head really explode. That's a lot of that. Those are not number I created. Those are the actual number, 40 trillion.
There's a very good Chinese tradition that is before the Lunar New Year, especially by the 除夕, the New Year's Eve, you have to pay off all your debt. Otherwise, you cannot. Otherwise, it would be disrespect to your ancestors.
I see.
对不起祖宗也欠钱. I remember this as a child. I knew for sure it's a tradition.
I'm also curious. This is a dry subject. Is it of interest or is it boring? I have to wake you guys up. Is it a boring subject? 这个题目对大家来讲，这种题目对大家来讲有兴趣啊，还是没有什么兴趣啊，还是 boring？
我有一个问题，它这个 act 的 purpose 是什么？What's the purpose of this act?
The purpose of this is cut, let's say cost, cut the food stamp, and then fund there's so much money you can spend on ICE. There's so much money you can spend on defense. There's so much money you can spend on Homeland Security. So what you're going to do? You're going to cut somewhere else and put the money on the fake program that you want to support. And 现在的这个 administration is big on defense and big on Homeland Security and ICE, all those things. So they are gonna, but you cannot just borrow money, increase the budget. You got to steal the money, shift the money somewhere else. This budget shift the money from other programs to support this program for the next 10 years. This is law for the next 10 years. I don't think, I may be wrong. I don't think, let's say, we don't know what is the next president going to be. Is that Democrat or Republican? Let's just for argument's sake, it's a Democrat president. It's not like he can write executive order and change those budgets. This is law. So they can change it after 10 years, I think. Because this is a setting stone for the next 10 years. So the whole purpose, shifting, putting money in the priority they think is what they want, what the president wants, on defense, on border control. And so.
No, I think some of the laws can be repealed if you have the majority. So it doesn't matter which party controls now. Now, in the future, if indeed the other party controls it, that they can always propose and then repeal a portion of that law, just like that when they repeal or terminate the called ACA, affordable, just like that. As long as you have majority to do it, you can do it.
I think you're right. The moon and
you cannot change its constitution, because if you want to add a constitution
that need 2/3. Constitution need 2/3. But I think that the moon and the star have to line up. That means you have to have a Democratic president. You got to have a Democratic House of Congress. You got to have Senate has to be Democratic. All this have the majority. Then you can repeal the law.
Yeah.
One of them is not. Then is dead in the water. Right now, it's all Republican, House, Senate, and President. That's why they can do this law.
Yeah, I mean,
having all three of them is difficult, very, very difficult. All you have to do is just House of Representatives, let's say Republican, the rest is Democrat. Then it's like Obama or whatever, nothing get done. So everything will be dead in the water. Any questions? Tom, you have any questions? Tom Yang?
Edwin, can you comment on the other? It's about the so-called the extra deduction for seniors. If I understand it correctly, I think there's a income test involved in this. In other words, it's not that every senior who is over 65 can claim all the so-called additional deduction.
You're right. There is a. I think I mentioned it. There is a income
test. Yeah.
There's an income tax. Is I think the extra 6,000 is. Let me see. Let me find this.
Not every single.
No.
Can claim it. Yeah.
I think most of us probably around that 12 to 15, 20% type. Let me see. To find this line. Oh, right here. Yeah. If your income is less than joint is less than $150,000, that's 6,000, which most of us fall into. Or joint file, single file 75,000. If you're above 150 but less than 250, you get partial deduction.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yes. So I don't know, you use accounting or TurboTax or now they know that. I think this is only available for 2025 to 2028 is not ongoing. The senior deduction is only for a few years, 2025 to 2028. So we should have it last year.
Not for 10 years.
No. A lot of this, they give you the 甜头, 因为 elections coming up. That's the reason.
I have a question.
Please do.
What is the relationship between the Federal Reserve and the Treasury? I mean, who is in charge of what? Because recently it seems like the Treasury Secretary has started a buyback program or doubled the buyback program in order to decrease the interest rates on the national debt, right? Is that
Okay.
something? Is that something that's generally looked upon as favorably?
Oh, let me ask the first question first. It's about church. The Federal Reserve are the one who set interest rates, and it's not one person. It's a board. Remember that President Trump wanted to fire this black woman,
right?
And they lost in court, and then he wanted to bring it up again to fire her. So it's an independent Federal Reserve Board. Why is that important? It set borrowing rates. It set the rate that you can borrow. Anytime when Federal Reserve Board drop the rate by 0.25%, there's an impact for stock market go up, because that means the business can borrow money
at a lower rate.
Less, a lower rate.
Yeah.
And then that will also affect mortgages and housing and so on. There's a whole thing of impact. And the Treasury Secretary and the President and the Congress cannot interfere. It's not like the Secretary of Treasury to go and tell him, I want the interest rate to be dropped 1% because there's an election coming up. No, it is, and they, the board, the chair, and the guy last year, now he's only on the board. The chair last year, now he's on the board. He only remain on the board. He'll make an announcement. Normally, and then you'll see the stock market change because of that announcement the next day or immediately. Now, Treasury, what does he do? He do negotiate for commerce and so on, dealing with China on the tariff and all those stuff. He is like administrator, a right-hand man for the president. Do all this stuff related to that. They are the one who do the budget, the spending, the budget office, and so on. And so they are more on a cabinet, on the administration side, and they don't deal anything with the interest rate.
Right, but the Treasury Secretary Besant recently actually went straight and tried to interfere with the bonds, right, the long-term bonds, in terms of doing a huge buyback, using the government to do the buyback in order to try to lower the interest rate that you were talking about, the interest rate on the debt.
Right. Well, he control the money. The Federal Reserve doesn't control money. The Federal Reserve is a board, only set rates. So let's say if the government want to buy back the money, buy the bond to shift the bond, they have the right to do that.
Really? So the Treasury,
they do, but it's interfere with the market. Normally, most Treasury don't do that, but now they do that. I'm not sure. Also, the Secretary, So again, I think is the rule have changed a lot nowadays. It's no longer the rule that we know to.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone wants to say, I want the bond change 0.25%, going to use your $100 billion reserve to buy the bond, you can do that.
Well, I think
and there's a reason for that too. For example, let's say you cannot wait for Federal Reserve. Let's just for argument say hypothetically, China owns a lot of T-bill.
Yeah.
And then China, let's say China fighting the U.S. on the tariff. Finally, China got upset. They said, I'm going to dump all the T-bill in an open market. The only thing U.S. can do is react is buy back.
Yeah.
Save it. So I mean, there are reasons why they can do that. China would not do that, because if they dump things on the market, it's 不能意气用事，因为很多时候 you're taking a loss. Why would they do that? So
They have already done so, right?
they do it gradually. They do it quietly. China do things very quietly. They don't go and announce it. They don't go and react because now the top table in terrorist. They do things very carefully. They do things systematically. They don't go and dump everything. Maybe it's gradually shifting the investment to Eurobond, emergency market, rather than a U.S. bond.
The other
But anyway,
important,
has this act actually had an effect on the interest rates of the, I mean, to lower the interest rates on that huge national debt that we're all bearing?
That recently there was a change in interest rate a little bit, then it dropped again. Recently there's a change up in the T-bill, but it's for a very short time. Short time. If you look at the T-bill, for those who buy T-bill, a Treasury bill was much more attractive 2 or 3 years ago than today.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
mean,
the rates are still too high for most people.
That 2 or 3 years ago, you can get T-bill, like 2 or 3 years T-bill, pay 4.5%. You don't have to pay tax on that. 4.6% today. You look at you buy the 2-year bill, let's say 2 years from now, it's 3.5. So that it's not as attractive to us as 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
T-bill.
Okay.
I think there's a big difference between the Federal Reserve and any cabinet secretary, because for any secretary, the president can fire the person instantly. No reason. Now, in order for the president to fire a member of the Federal Reserve, he or she cannot do it unless
Well,
for cops. Yeah.
Right. I think they fired that black Federal Reserve. I think she went to court and won the case. Went to court and won the case. So it's and then now they think about firing her again. It's not as technically they're not supposed to, but as I mentioned, with this current administration, is any game it's fair, right? They do anything that nobody can think of. I would never do that, right?
Yeah, because they have a term. When any member is appointed, there's a term.
Yeah, that's true. Powell still remain on the board. His term is still there, even though he's not chair.
Yeah, because the chair is also appointed, but to dismiss a chair from the chairmanship to a regular member, it doesn't require any specific cause. But to fire somebody, you have to have a cause, recorded.
Yeah.
To dismiss it for a cause. But without any reasonable cause, a president cannot do it.
Yes. Any question?
Trump has fired what, 3 or 4 secretaries already, right? He has fired 3 or 4, or maybe 5 already.
He likes to fire people.
Yeah, he likes to fire people. If the problem is all people who serve him now, they are chickens. Nobody can say anything bad to him or tell him the real truth. If they dare to say that, they will lose their job.
So Andy, how's your Henderson? It's in Nevada, right? That's in Nevada, Henderson. I've been there before, Henderson. How's Henderson?
Yes, very well. I'm in a 55 plus community, and it has a lot of activity within our HOA. So it's a fun place, like in a camp. We have indoor, outdoor swimming pool, and it's hot right now outside, but you basically just go from air conditioning home to car, or my case, I do have to walk a little bit, cross the street to my club, but I don't have to drive. So it's a very nice place.
How many people in your community?
This particular HOA, this community, have 1,000 1,000 and less than 1,100 house. So yeah,
three
but a
clubs.
lot of people volunteer to teach yoga, Tai Chi and line dance and Hulu dance, Hawaii dance. They are two different class.
Wow,
There are two different style. But anyway, a lot of fun here.
that's good. That's wonderful. All right. Any other questions? 希望对大家有个小小帮助。
Edwin, this is Tom.
Hey, Tom.
I assume that most of UNHCR's members, I assume that they're not in the middle income level. So
I wouldn't know.
after listening to your seminar, do we have to stop panicking, or we just leave the life as it used to? Or I know
You're saying that most of them are
middle income, I would say.
middle is 250,000 and below.
Yeah, I would say so. This income is not including the property value and the house you live in. Just the income from your retirement, your social security, your pension, and whatnot. So, what I know your purpose is to provide information, but what is your advice for?
Okay, I'm not a financial advisor, but I would say a couple of things. Number one, that there's a tax deduction, stuff like that. It's not going to be huge impact to most of us. The biggest impact, I think, to most of the people here is the RMD, require minimum distribution. You have to pay tax. That's going to change your tax bracket. Once you change the tax bracket, that's going to change also your it's also going to change your Medicare premium Part B. Is also changing your IRMA. So a lot of us, because we brought up in an environment saving. So most of us are pretty diligently saving on our IRA, on our 401k, and so on, etc. So if that money is not in Roth IRA, the government want your money. Means that by 73 and a half, you got to start taking those money, require minimum distribution. And that percentage is a curve. Means the government want to get all your money before you die. So as you get older, the rate is higher. You're required to take more and more out. Because you have to take the money out, you and your wife, let's say if you and your wife are both working, IRA or 401k, now you're going to pay taxes on that. That's going to be affecting the Medicare you're going to pay. That's also affecting the penalty, the IRMA. Don't think it's a small number. As time goes, that becomes a number. I'm currently taking some seminar on this about IRA, and I two or three of them. Some of them good, some of them a sales pitch. So I think that is the thing you need to work out. I think you might want to get a professional. Should you convert some of the IRA to Roth? Should you do a QCD, a qualified charitable contribution to lower your tax? You can do that. You can write a check to UNHCR, and that lower your tax right there, $10,000. That $10,000, $10,000. Might be you pay more on that 10,000 or 1,000, 2,000. So that is actually one of the things that maybe we can educate the group here to help, say about charitable contribution. Are we a registered 501c?
Yes.
Yes, we are
Yes, we are. Yeah.
qualified nonprofit organization under 503c, I think.
Maybe something I can work on in the next 6 months or a year about how can Yunhos or CCGB can help Yunhos on the QCD, qualified charitable QC, the qualified charitable contribution to lower the tax with the IRA because of R&D. I'm not a tax guy, but I know that. But there got to be a balance here. I mean, so every dollar you contribute, you don't have, you can take it out from the that amount is not payable to you. It's paid directly to GBCCA, right?
GBCCA.
G what?
GBCCA.
Too many initials. To GBCCA. So I have friends who do that. That they have fidelity to write a check basically payable to the church, and then let's say if they need to take 10,000 R&D, they give 1,000 to the church. Now the R&D they take out 9,000. So there's something like that to think about. So if you ask me, I think if the biggest concern to all of us actually the tax impact with R&D.
This is really the best way to make donations. The
Yes.
money you donated to GBCCA doesn't count as your income.
Yes.
You
Yes.
don't have to put it in the tax form. It's not going to increase your what's called Social Security penalty. So it doesn't count our income either. So
yes.
So it's very safe.
Very,
So
yeah.
we really encourage everyone to do that.
I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea to do that kind of analysis so that we know what's going on. It doesn't have to be, all the donation to GBCCA. We can do it to other organization or
absolutely.
Of course.
But that's really a good idea because we are not losing anything. You are either paying to Uncle, well,
Uncle John.
Uncle John.
Federal government. Yeah. Let me do some research because I'm taking some seminar, and it's a webinar on it and so on. So I think and let me put together some scenario. Again, is each person's comfort level, even $500, even $1,000, even $100, doesn't matter amount. It's go directly to the organization to do good things. So I think, and a lot of people here might not know the means to do that. They don't know such an animal. They don't know how to do it, and I can walk with them on it. The money doesn't come to me. I don't charge any administration fee. The money go to the group. Is that answer your question, Tom?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
To do that, the most important is you have to call your financial institute, whoever manage your IRA, have them send a check directly to GBCCA or whatever the organization, your church, whatever. That's the critical because you make check to yourself, then you cannot do it.
Right.
You have to go through to the GBCCA.
Well,
they know how to do it, and so when you need it, you just call them, and it's not straightforward. Sometimes you may end up calling quite a few places.
Yeah, but
another thing is if your account is your company's retirement account, they have you to move to IRA before you can do it. So there's a lot of details, but you don't need to know. You just call your financial advisor.
Yeah, I think after I did the analysis, maybe we can talk about that. Yeah, what you said is yes or no, 汤大哥，因为我的朋友刚刚才做过去年 Fidelity and again let's say it's just an argument say $1,000. Fidelity write the check to Chinese Bible Church Greater Boston $1,000, but they can because he want to give it to the church himself. They can do that, but they mail that check to his house.
And they have to mail to your church directly. They cannot mail to your friend. That's
He
a
just
big thing.
he just did that with Fidelity. He just did.
I agree with Tang Yauwu. According
you
to
have to.
Fidelity, that you have to mail directly over.
Really?
Otherwise, it can't. If it goes through your hand, doesn't count. So it has to mail directly to the
Okay.
addressee.
Let me research this subject because he just did it last year. In Fidelity Mail at church, he was in Hawaiian Budohui. The check is made payable to Hawaiian Budohui. Then he may take the check to church and deposit it and give it to the church.
If he got audited, he will be trouble.
I don't know.
I know.
I see.
Okay. Yeah.
We need to.
Because IRS IRS doesn't have that information, so you file the tax the way you file, right? So you can put any numbers on the income tax.
Okay. Well,
so if
let's. I take your word for it, but I need to verify. This AI, L or AI, raise the hand. Can I help you? L or AI? We have a robot here. AI. Is AI? AI raised a hand earlier. Maybe it's a mistake. Is AI? AI, can I help you, AI or L? Maybe not. Any other questions?
Can you hear me? This is Peggy, Al's wife. It's not AI. I just find out. I just want to share with everybody. The 2026 individual limit for the QCD is 111000. I put it into the text. If you look at the text,
1100.
No, it's 怎么念？1多少钱
？100 11万。
11万，对，讲不出英文来。Married couple is double to
110,000.
So married couple file jointly is 222,000.
Good. Hey, it's over my limit, so it's okay. I don't have to worry about it.
So you don't even need to go through Fidelity. What you can do is that when you do your RMD, you can do it yourself. If you find out GBCCA's routing number and then pay to whoever, right? I do it myself. I don't even bother Fidelity, right? I would just say, okay, I'm going to send it to my church. I just get the routing.
I'm not sure. I need to investigate it. I'm not sure. I think all the indications said that you have to send, you have to make the check payable to the organization, not from you.
You are correct. You are correct. You have to send the check directly, not going through you. I will just send directly wire the money that I want to donate to, example, to my church or to the, GBCCA directly. If a Tang Da Ge, if you will just say, okay, year ends fasting approaching. If you wanted to make a donation, here's the routing number and here's the name, and then the account number, and you can do it right away.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
But the question is, how do you declare that in your tax plan then?
Okay, so hold on. So whether it's Vanguard, whether it's Fidelity, whether it's Charles Schwab, whether it's whatever, at the end of the year, you're 1099, and then there's going to be a QCD. So when you do your income tax, and then the TurboTax, it will, it's a part of your 1099 form. It will show whether it's Fidelity do it for you, you can do that. Or if you wanted to do it yourself, you can do that. And then, so the QCD will show up on the 1099. There's another way is they're called the gift fund. So Fidelity used to have a gift fund. It's a charitable account, but it's better using QCD than the charitable account because the QCD is basically 像汤大哥讲, if you're going to give $10,000 to GBCCA, that $10,000 it's not going to be count as a part of your income, and therefore it's not going to be. So your income is plus the retirement, everything. Say if it's 200,000, right? And then if you just give a 10,000, so your income is less than that's $10,000. That's your income.
All right. I think this is a subject that worth to discuss in the future.
Yep.
Certainly, I think it arouses more question here than my topic. So, so all right. I think any other questions?
Well,
Comment?
I think this is very important. It might change a lot of things. So I would like to propose that anybody is interested, including you, Edwin, that we can put it together and perhaps get some experts talking about tax guy. The problem with me with the tax the tax people is that I don't think they do the analysis. They just answer the question. Whatever you want to do, they tell you what happened after that. But I think they have a hard time doing the planning for you.
I think the challenge is that each person's income and so on is different, and so on. I can only put together general information and guide and steps, and then people like Peggy and so on can chime in based on Tang Daiko, based on their experience, and address question. I can do the outlay, but in terms of expert, you would have to do it one-to-one. There's a lot of people to help you.
But we can actually set up an example of, for this kind of income level, what happened.
Right. I can run some scenario and give you some idea. You know, the thing is that the requirement minimum distribution affect the tax, but it's also your tax rates also included your interest, your dividend, your capital gain, etc., your deduction. So it's a little bit more complicated than just each one's person is different. I can give one or two examples, but more importantly, plan the idea to people here, and they can consult the accountant, financial advisor to do a one-to-one, see what's the best scenario for them. But the other thing important is that there's a step for that they can do, they know what to do, and also people who have done this, such as Nodai Peggy, etc., Annie, etc., can also chime in to give the experience. It's certainly worth the subject, but I needed some time to put it together, so it's not something I can do next month. I think it's worth it. Maybe 6 months from now, whatever. Once I'm ready, then of course the after presentation, there may be other people who have done this can also share about their experience.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with Ed that Ed can give us a direction to go, but to know exactly what's applicable to us precisely, we have to either do our homework or consultant to our tax consultant.
Yes,
There's no other way around.
I agree. But
you cannot depend on
I
seminar.
agree with that. I agree with that. But I think that probably that Ed, perhaps you and maybe we can invite more people that are more knowledgeable about this subject. We can come up with example, like in this, if your your income is this level, and what happened if you do the deduction?
I don't know whether I want to share other people's income level.
No. I don't mean that because everybody is different. I'm saying that we can come up with like 3 or 4 different income level and show them if this is your income level, this is how much if you donate this, what's the impact to you? And I think
Here's what I suggest, Cynthia. I can do the overall, I can do the steps, and then I will invite a couple of people, a panel discussion type to share the experience without
Okay.
getting to too personal. I think that's very not uncommon for conferences. So then at that time, when things are, and then like just a while ago, each one have a different experience. Like someone said they can write a check, someone said no. So let me do the overall. Then I think after that there will be panel of people who have done this can share the experience. I think that the bottom line is to stir the interest. They take the next steps. The next step means they go and talk to a consultant, a financial advisor or accountant. They say they don't have to. Again, it's an individual will. They don't have to donate the whole thing. Even they donate $1,000, $500. That's $500, $1,000, $2,000 more for the GBCCA than before. So that's important for them to stir their interest to know. Oh, there's another way to do this without affecting my tax, even lower my tax. I think this.
right.
So I'm still studying, learning right now. So it's an interesting subject to understand.
So would you be in charge of
Yeah,
that?
every year we have the tax expert to give us a talk. So,
Yeah, if you have a accountant or financial advisor who want to do this, that's fine. If not, I'll be happy to put it together. So, but I need 3 to 6 months to prepare for it, to learn from different side, like 6 months or more to do this. So, but if you know outside, most of this financial consultant, if they do that, they want to sell you something, right? So it might become excessive.
we have been doing that every year. I think for some reason we didn't do it this year, but
who's that?
Wei Kaiser, she's a
CPA.
CPA, yeah.
Oh, he's the tax guy.
Yeah, he's a tax guy. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
that's his business.
Yeah, he's an expert. Maybe you have him to present even better because he's a really true professional. So have him to present it. Then as I recall, his information is quite thorough.
Yeah,
it's a lot to digest. It's a lot. I went to one of them. It's a lot of information to present. So you might want to tell me we just want him to concentrate QCD.
I think it's different. Your talk is from different perspective, but no matter what, all those talk is just give us something to look for. But when you want to do something, you cannot depend on the talk.
No.
You have to go to a consultant,
an expert on that. Yeah.
Yeah, you really have to. Okay.
So at this stage, you still want me to put together, or you want this expert to put it together? What do you want me to do?
No, I think can help us.
I will have his annual talk. Okay.
Yeah. Have him to give us the talk.
You can really see he's more depending on how he's going to give every year. And then you can see what you can add to it. There's so much things we can focus on different things.
Yeah,
but today we focus on a particular it's the beautiful bill. So we learn something. We are very focused. So
no, let me suggest something. I think it would be too much to ask Wei Kaiser to do this. But I think that if Edwin, that you can come up with, say for example, three example. If your income level is, what do we call adjustable income level is so much. And when you donate $1,000, instead of paying tax to Uncle Sam, so how much is the fact? So if we can do it on different level, say if your income is between 250,000 or less, or if 150,000 and less, and what's the impact? So that we know instead of giving it to the Uncle Sam, we are actually giving it to other people. And so the impact is not as much as we think.
Yeah, I can look into it. So I just want to know who's the one who's about 250,000, 我可以叫他做干爹啦。
Huh?
Someone's 250,000.
No, for the couple who 不管怎么样子，我们可以有 different level so that
I know, I'm
everybody can
just
look
kidding.
at your
All right.
case. And I don't even know how much. I just let the TurboTax do my tax, so I don't even know how much is my income level. But
Well,
if we can come up with different ones so that people get some idea and tell them exactly how to simplify the whole procedure, I think that's our purpose, right?
I need a little time to prepare for it.
Yeah, I understand that. So
No
you
problem.
may, right, you may need some help. Let's see who would like to pitch in together with that.
I don't know what kind of help I'm putting with this. I don't know what kind of help. I think a lot of time help is more time. So I would prefer that they would do, if they want to help, they put together their case and I'll put it to the presentation. If they want to do that, they say, oh, my case is just hypothetical, make $100,000 on joint file. I do this. I contribute 5,000 for charity. Before that my tax is 34%, 5%. Now I dropped to 23, something like that. If they want it, they can do that case, and I can attach to a presentation if they're willing to do that. I don't know.
Okay.
But those things I can from Turbo there I can throw in the number and get some number right away. So I think yeah, it just takes time because I have to do a hypothetical. All right.
Right.
Anything else? I think there's more interest on this topic is 应该怪这个 Tom 他问我这个问题。
Very
Sorry.
good question. Yeah.
Anything else?
Okay, it's already 4 o'clock. Thank you
Yep.
very much. And as I said, next month, the fourth Wednesday from 2 to 4 自由谈. Right now, it's 空窗期. So anybody has any suggestion, please let me know.
Okay. All right, no problem.
Okay, all right. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.
Thank you. They say bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
汤耀武，我可以问你一个问题吗？
是哪位？
我是 May 啊，我有关于 medical 的问题，我还有问题，我怎么跟郑博士联络？
你要跟我个人联络，对不对？
对，
你有没有我的 email？我电话是508。
等一下，508 ，OK。
333。
333 ，Yeah。
0633。
0633 ，OK。我想要有更多关于 Medicare 的问题，所以我想跟郑博士联络，但是我不晓得他的联络方式。
郑博士是
上礼拜
那个郑博士呀。
Yeah。
好，那你写个 email 给我好不好？
那你可不可以再给我一下你的 email address, please？
好，就是我寄给你啊，你等一下啊。
你要不要我的 email？
我就恰的给你。
现在
？Yeah。OK。
Yeah，
我寄给你，因为你写的 email 上我不会忘掉，别的会忘掉。
OK， 那你是用 chat？
我是现在用 chat 的，你看到没有？
OK， 我看到了。耀武汤 Okay, hold on one moment. It's gone. Hold on. 让我看。Okay, at gmail.com. OK， 好，
Yeah.
那我再 send 个 email 给你。
那我就转给他，他就会答你的那个 Medicare 的问题。
Okay, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
OK，他是专家的，他是受过专门训练的。
对对对，他那天讲，他说那个那个 drug D 啊，wear care， 他说赔8块多钱，我现在赔1684，我就不知道 why。
因为你的 option 那么多，你当初怎么选的？他讲的那个烧会你上去 Medicare 大的 Go， 你用过没有？
没有。
哦呀，我是每年都用的啦。
那你的 drug D 是不是自己买？drug plan
你都要自己买啊。
对，那你是买哪一个 plan？
我跟你讲，我怎么选的。因为我们的药比较多，比较复杂。我就把我的药。其实你买什么药 ，Medicare 都知道。因为你是经过他的保险，所以你 log in 以后，你的药多半都在他都已经有了。OK， 所以你也不用个个都 type in。然后你再看看你没有的，你把它补上去。今年的新药或者是，也现在已经是时候了嘛，现在马上就10月，10月就开，现在就可以，你现在就可以开始看。我不知道能不能看到明年的，就说看看那个不同的 option，他跟你差不多每一种 option 都给你。你看到时候那个药啊，我的经验啊，可以从那个他预计你1年要花的钱，可以从1、2千块到几百块，但你只要不吃药就没什么钱，对不对？一直到几万块都可能。
我只吃一种药，就是 control cholesterol， 他叫我每个月付16块8毛4。
那小钱啊。
哦，那个郑博士跟我们说 ，Wear Care 只 charge 你8块钱，那我现在付是 double。
那你去看看他，他只要上面写8块钱，你付了16块的话，你就可以打电话去问，我想。
OK， 问 Wear Care，right？
问 Wear Care，yeah。OK，
好。
对，那你看看能不能看得到？假如怎么样真的看，你跟那个郑博士看看，他大概会告诉你。你找找查查看。但是对我讲，那个是那种几块钱的事情，对我们对医药费讲已经是小数目了。因为
另外还有那个那个叫什么 Medex，yeah。
你是用 Medex 对不对？
我现在是用 Medex， 每个月要付238块。
但是你差不多都不要付那个医药费嘛。医生的钱你都不付了吗？
No， the whole annually I have to pay $284, and after that，
你付了这2，你去看医生几乎不要钱，对不对？
还要付哦。
还要每次要吗？
每次没有，就是说看完以后他都会寄一个账单来。
还有吗？
还有。
你是那个 Blue Cross Blue Shield 的
？Yes。
Medex 啊
？Yeah， Sapphire 是不是？
啊？
他说有3种嘛，第一种是 Core，right？ 第二种是他说你一个月只要赔180块，就是 Blue Cross Blue Shield 的 Core， 然后你赔中间的240块左右，就是你每个月的 Premium。那还有一个第3种是要赔300多，他说你现在已经不能参加第3种了。他说，郑博士是这样讲。
哦，对对对，
就是第一种、第二种，他是这样讲。
我好像我不知道是哪一种。
那你每个月付多少钱 ？Premium？
我记不到了，他都
他
自动扣。
也郑博士的意思就是说，假如是你每个月都付300多块 premium 的，那
我以
你就是
为是200多块啊。
你是200多，那你就是应该是中间的 Medex。
对，但
那
是我
嗯，
什么医药费都不要付哎。
那你 OK，譬如说我们去做一个 mammogram，或做一个 needle biopsy，或者做 ultrasound，你
对，
都不用付吗？1毛
不
钱都不用。
用付啊。
嗯，
你要付
那
多少？
没有，他现在寄来的账单说，This is not a bill. You maybe pay $300. 我就很 confused。
那就不是个 bill 就不是个 bill 了吗？
那不是个 bill，他把所有的东西都列出来了，
他就
然后他说，
告诉你一个是我知道是 Medicare，这个钱是这样子，一部分是 Medicare 付，Medicare 不付的部分，你的保险公司就会付。所以像你这一年多少，你要真正开出多少支票出去？
每一个月我要付240块。
除了这个以外，你
premium
要不要开支票？
我现在还不知道，我去做了 ultrasound，我去做了 needle biopsy，他回来给我一大堆的 list，所以我
所以
totally
你
confused。
是很健康的，这是第一次用。
对，
OK，那这个还不急了。他讲是说，呃，是说这个 bill 是寄给保险公司，保险公司会付掉。只要保险公司不付掉的话，你去看看那个培训给尾上有没有账单给你，好像还没有嘛。
so far 他寄来了，那
有没有账单？
他只是告诉我 maybe I have to pay this，反正是大概有10几20页。
哦，都是 maybe 嘛，对不对？
对，都是 maybe。
那可
Drive
能
me
是，
nuts。
那我想还是没有，不是要你付的意思就是了。但是，
但是，
你说，
我是觉得，因为I did the needle biopsy on March，到现在还是搞不清楚我到底要付他多少钱。但是我是 Medex， 他也跟我讲，他就说 the end of the year you pay $240 each month plus the Medicare B Part B， 他已经在
对
Social
Part D
Security。
呢？Part D 买了哦，你买了哦。
Part D 我买了 Wear Care 啊，他叫我
对啊，
每个月
对啊，
付
所以你
16
就 all
块钱5
set
毛。
了。
对，so 那他跟我讲说，the end of the year you should only pay $284. That's your responsibility. Other than that, you don't have to worry. 但是 so far 看起来我的那些 bill， 我根本非常非常 confused， 我就搞不清楚到底我要付他多少
我
钱。
想我知道他会这样子做，我也常常收到这样的单子，就说，有的时候他说哦，你付了多少多少万，然后再说你有多少钱是 你 Medicare 不付的，那个我的保险公司就 pick up 了。So far 我们两个都是蛮多看病的，看了很多很多的。OK，都是还没有真正付过，除非是 Medicare 不付的钱。假如有个东西是 Medicare 不 cover 的，那他们也不 cover。
OK。
那通常医生都会给你讲，因为那个钱都是不得了的。对。
其实我以前从来没有看医生，就是 annual check up。但是这一次就是去做 mammogram， 他就跟我讲他 find out something， 所以我就必须去做 needle biopsy， 我通通照他的规矩去做了。然后 end up 他也是说 OK that's fine no problem， 是 benign， 你 don't have to worry about。 那我就每天都收到账单。
那不用担心了，尤其是你这个账单是谁给你的？Medicare 嘛，对不对
？Medicare right。
对对对，因为 Medicare 只付多少70%还是80%嘛
？80%，80%。
对啊，那剩下的部分就是那个 Blue Cross Blue Shield Medex 会付。所以但是 Medicare 是说他知道会付，但是他不保证会付嘛， 付是不是他付嘛？他只知道回复，所以他说 maybe。OK，
OK，所以我就不用管他。
我想不用管他，你就 watch out 你那个Medicare 有没有叫你付就是了。
OK，你说你们完全不用付钱啊？看医生？
几乎都不要付什么钱呢。我看我要付什么钱？OK，你配眼镜的处方50-60块到70-80块，那个是不 Medicare 不 cover，所以你要自己付。OK，有过一次是，那是 process 的错误，有一个差不多
开刀
都没
也不用付，
有
什么都不
我们没
用做。
有说，我现在一下子想不起来哪一个手术上是要说是他不要，因为我们两个手术都蛮多的，也都是很贵很贵的。
那我从来都没有用过。
OK，那个连住院一天住院都什么rehab 啊，这个都不需要，都不要付，还有
都不
那个
要付啊
physical therapy 都不要付的。
哦，他有没有限制你去几次 physical therapy？
好像没有限制耶。
那你买的是什么东西啊？这么好？
跟你一样啊。我也
OK。
是 Medex 啊。
Medex，然后是 Blue Cross Blue Shield。
呀。
OK，听
Forever
你
介绍给
这样讲，
你的，Forever 介绍你买的是好人介绍对了，你自己挑的啊。
没有，他就是跟我讲这样子嘛，他就说 the end of
谁
year，
谁谁告诉你去选这个的？
那个 Shine Officer。
真的啊。
他就跟我说，他说你呢，你现在既然已经就说 mammogram 之后，他说你有这些问题，你就不要去跟他啰嗦，你就去买 Blue Cross Blue Shield，然后你1个月就付240块钱，当然1年你就是要付几千块，然后加上你的那个Medicare Part B，他1个月 charge 我相信300-400块钱，OK， 所以 totally 也是 quite heavy， 然后我自己还要买Part D， 然后他还跟我讲，你没有 dental， 你要自己去买，
是这样子呀。
还有
所以说，
那dental 我就没有买了，我想我就是1年洗1次牙嘛，我没有 dental 我就自己付，是不是这样子？你们有没有 dental？
我买了，因为我的牙齿很坏，不过没有太大好处，因为它那个 coverage 又少，所以没有必要买。
OK，
因为你要花大钱，他也不付。
花大钱他也不付 ，OK， 所以我还是觉
眼
得
镜好像可以买，眼镜只要几块钱，叫你要几十块钱。
medical advantage 啊，它都 cover 呀。
你说 medical 什么
？advantage，
那是另外一个哦。
另外一个 totally different。
Totally different。
Right，
那
它 cover
个我是当然是便宜很多，但是他要付 copay，所以
你知道以前有一种叫 PPO 更好，那现在他 PPO 撤掉了，在马州不做了，他说他们亏钱，所以一定要做 HMO。HMO 非常麻烦，你每一次要去看一个专科医生，你要去拿一个 referral， 那个 referral take so long， 然后你的 appointment 已经 make 好了，他的 referral 还没有下来。
就是说，因为他一定要他 network 里面的东西，你看
Right，
什么医生都要 PCP 同意嘛。
Right，
对吧？那我现在我有的时候同样毛病，我看2个医生也可以啊。
也可以 ，OK，你都OK， 他们专科医生你要不要付 extra charge？
一毛不付。
OK，
所以
我们还是应该 keep 这个 Medex。
我跟你讲，你这个太好了，千万不要换掉换出去。 除非你真的不想付那250块，要不然的话就绝对是好，你就不必担心了嘛。
Right，因为
对啊
250块你乘以12，你有一个预算，反正今年我就是付这么多，对不对？
呀，就是
，Yeah，
说，
嗯哼，
你想想看，那个，假如你要 PT 的话，一个
嗯哼
月一次10块，一次30块，10次就300块了。
，Right
假如
Right
你是真的厉害的，30次就1000块了，
Right，你讲的
对不对？
没错，嗯哼，
会个里就加上去了。
Right
对，
Right，
而且那个我们的看病差不多是，我每个礼拜都有几次的，所以
哦，Yeah，
是就是说，现在健康的时候就留一点，万一哪天不健康的时候，你也不必那个一下子就说，哇，还要为了这个，你想住院嘛？我不知道有的住院不付100%的话，你这10%，都是一天都是1万块啊，1万块一天就是1000块，
你说我们这个保险连住院都不用付钱
住院都1毛钱都不付啊。
Oh my goodness，我还不知道它有那么多好处，因为我是今年才去买的。
哦，你刚刚找 Medicare 是吧？
不是，我已经用了10几年了，我一直都是用那个 Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO 的
哦
Advantage，我一直是用
哦
Advantage。
哦，你刚刚放过来的，那
我刚刚
你以前的话自己要花多少钱？
因为我一年就是只做 annual checkup，nothing else。
哦哦，所以你这去年冬天换过来的，
换过来的，yes，
哇，
yeah，
那你运气真好，
所以
换过来了，值得换过来。
也换过来，但是我觉得我现在也是只有 annual checkup 吧，nothing else 啊。
呀呀，不过我不知道你多大，什么是慢
我
慢下去，只有增加机会，增加不会减少吧？
那当然
对不对？
，yeah yeah。
我觉得是绝对这样子做，绝对值得。
OK，因为我假如去年不是因为那个 Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO 被 cancel 了，我还不会转过来，因为 PPO 给我的 benefit 是刚刚好。PPO 就是说你可以任选医生，you don't need
哦
any referral，它是 advantage。
哦，我还不晓得这个。
Yeah，就是去年在麻州被 cancel 了，
哦，
所以他就 force me has to transfer，因为 HMO 实在是不好。
我们那时候退休的时候，我们就有一个朋友，他是比我们年纪大好几岁了，他很懂这些，他自己也在用。他说你就选 Blue Cross Blue Shield 的 Medics，他说最好了，也连 copay 都不要，我一定不要 copay，我就要了，因为我们两个身体就不是那么好，我觉得，我情愿保险，而且我说年纪大了，
right，
是说你每个月付多少钱的话，你有 control，但是一旦没有的话，你将来你吃药要找医生，为了保险，为了钱的方面，还要说选这个选那个医生，那我说我那时候很痛苦嘛，我说还不如说一次付了，到时候要选什么医生就什么医生。
而且我们刚刚好今年我的family doctor retire，我的那个眼科医生也 retire，我的牙医也 retire，所以 drive me crazy。我说我简直是我没有想到他们会那么快 retire，然后一看我的 family doctor 跟我说，他说 Do you know how old I am? I say maybe 50 or 60。他说 No， 我的 family doctor 已经70岁了。
哇，
我反正就是说 chaos， everybody retire。然
Yeah，
后你知道吗？我去找 family doctor 的时候，好的有经验的全部不收新病人。
我们也是，我们的也是一样啊。
那然后有的都是那些刚刚毕业出来、刚刚
对
做完
对，
residency 的。
我们现在几乎都是专科在看。
哦，都是专科。
然后我们现
OK。
在找了很多之后 Mass General 的专科。
哦，OK
Yeah，
OK，那都很年轻吗？
哦，那都很惊艳的。
很惊艳的。OK。
哦，呀，一
Actually，
旦进去以后，就他就是看，所以你看你现在这个事情，你现在是在哪？
我住在哪？
不是你现在这个帮你做的 mammogram 看着治疗的医生，
在 Newton Wellesley。
那个人我有事 OK。
Actually，他也是 Mass General 的医生。他那
哦，
个时候叫我选，他说 Which one you prefer？ 因为我们住在128嘛，所以我说那我去 Newton Wellesley 好了。假如我去 Downtown Boston 的话，停车又不方便，对不对？
嗯哼，
那我说我就去 Newton Wellesley。
所以他两边都有。
他两边都有，他叫我自己选，那我选了 Newton
OK，
Wellesley。那你们都跑到Mass General 啊？
我现在就是多半都在，都有了，我差不多一半一半了。我太太多半在 Mass General，
哦，那很不方便嘛，对不对？
很方便哎，
哎，你怎么去啊？你住威
开
冷对不对？
车去啊。
啊，开车？
啊哈，
那
你住哪
park，
里？你住哪个塔？
我住 Westwood，
啊，
128，Needham 的下面。
你人上面？哦，威尔斯利啊，
呀，
威尔斯利啊，
没有 Westwood。
哦，我也是我的呀。哦，你们可能比我们是上 Pack 就，我不是呀，上 Pack 就进去了。
哦，Mass
Pack 进
Pipe。OK
去以后再走 Stolo Drive，
OK。
呀，就出来就是了。
但是你 parking 那就停在他的 parking lot。
Parking lot 就是花钱嘛，就是我跟你讲，我的医药费全花在 parking lot 上，
I see。
一
OK
次10块钱到12，一次12块，现在好像涨了一点。这个
OK
是
OK。
啊，所以也算好了，在城里面你就12块到15块这样子，
嗯哼。
所以还算可以嘛，对不对？
Yeah。
那所
因为
以说
所以还
呀，所以我不知道你开车并不难了，就走路也不难。你一 pack 出来以后上 Storo Drive，一直走到那个马斯建路那个出口出来，就是了。有点挤，早上什么你时间不对的时候会很久。
Right
我
Right。
们现在就尽量安排，中午的时候去从我们家去半个多钟头嘛，40分钟。
Right。不过你要看一个病，一天就
呀，
花
那你
在那个。
呀，像他的那个，像我太太的心脏科医生啊，什么东西啊，这些
哦
就到
，OK
里面去就放心一点呀。
OK。那你们这
那他
些专科医生都是在网上找的，还是怎么样？The
各有
specialist。
每一个的找法的多半是在网上，你就到 Mass General 看看他的医生的，你可以打电话给他，也可以像那个心脏科医生，我太太是每一个医生的 resume，仔细研究以后他选出来的，他
像
选的他很会选的相当好。
OK，像我先生他现在要找一个，因为他的泌尿科医生也退休了。那我们都不知道怎么去找泌尿科医生。
OK，
你有没有好的可以介绍我们？
OK，我的泌尿科医生是，本来是在本来也是 Mass General 的医生，OK，但是他整个 office 本来是在那个牛顿威尔士里，所以还在牛顿威尔士里。他是因为现在牛顿威尔士也是 Mass General 的同一个医院嘛，
，right right，他 combine，
所以说他那个，所以我现在我的医生换掉以后，我就是一个 assistant 帮我看了2年，他都是 check up。我最近找到一个医生，我太太好像也直接找到他，我们2个independent找到他，是个女的。
OK， 泌尿科。
Yeah。
哦，OK。
她还是有女的。
哦，OK。
我找到的时候不晓得是女的。
OK， 那你方不
叫
方便
DYER。
DYE。
呀，你就找马斯坚诺，但马斯坚诺有2个，2个泌尿科，一个是在牛顿威尔斯里的，另外一个在本部的。
OK， 那个医生叫什么名字呢？
我的医生啊，DYER。
嗯哼。
那这是另外一个找医生的方法，就问你的朋友。OK。呀，通常我觉得朋友介绍都还蛮有用的。但假如你心脏需要的话，我们做心脏科医生是绝对可以介绍。
OK。那这样好不好？我会 email 给你，然后你再把他们的名字告诉我，方不方便？
呀，我会帮你 forward 给他。
好。
然后你可以跟他谈谈。我很好啦，我觉得你现在这个误打误撞的也都学到最好的了。
Yes。
Yeah。
希望。OK，
你中文名字叫什么？
我中文名字傅是师傅的傅，中间是美丽的美，玉石，傅美玉。我也是，我跟你是校友，我是师大毕业的。
你也是师大傅美。
上次师大校长来的时候，我们不是在那个侨教中心欢迎他？对。我跟那个冯文鸾很熟。
冯文鸾呀。
我们可能比你们稍微小一点。
我想是。
你是师大物理的是吧？
对。
OK。我是学教育的。我以前我们很早以前我就是在 Lexington 教中文。
你在Lexington 教中文啊
？Lexington 对呀，那是多少年？1988。
那很早了。我们那时候好像，我们小孩已经都早就不去了。我们是1970几年。
OK。我们那个时候校长是谁你知道吗？严公俊。
严公俊，对啊。
严公俊是他是土木的 right？
对。
他是哪里土木我不记得了。
我也记不到，是不是应该是台大的？成大。我记不到是台大的。成大是吧？
因为我先生是台大土木的。
那
他们2个曾经在同一家公司上班。
就那个什么公司叫什么
？GCA。
不晓得，我不晓得。
在 Newton。
那你们现在还有联络吗？
他搬到加州了嘛？
对。
Yeah。那个时候他做校长的时候，我在那边帮忙教中文。他太太是熊子嘛，是吧？
熊金啊。
熊金 right。他那时候还叫我，他说你以后呢就叫你的孩子呢学医就去 military 去军校，他说可以省很多很多钱。那后来我们没有走这条路子，后来女儿就去一家私立学院医学院念医。
那他现在在做医生吗？
是，但是他不在麻州，他在麻州做了4年的 residence， 然后结了婚以后就去了南部。但是反正我现在因为我的 primary physician 退休了嘛，那我又找了一个年轻的医生，那也没有办法，现在就只有将就的用他。那我有什么问题，我第一个还是打电话给女儿，我说我有什么问题。然后他再给我一些 advice 这样子。
那很好啊。
现在就只有这样子了，因为我好的医生用了30几年的医生都退休了。
对啊，我们的也是啊。
是啊，所以就是 very upset。然后我先生上个月说，他说他的泌尿科又退休了， 那我说怎么办？我不知道到哪里去帮你找医生。
OK，那你先要找大爷的，就先给他打个电话，先给
OK，
他
但他的 last name 是什么？
DYE 啊
那他 first name 呢？
，Boston 我就不知道了，
哦，OK，
那个
那就
诊所里只有一个啊，
戴尔，OK，试试看。
对啊，
那好，他是
对，
在 Newton Wellesley 是吧？
他在纽顿啊，不要 s 的 office，
哦，那还好，蛮
对啊，
近的。好，
你要他电话吗？
好，假如你有方便的话，
电话的话，我要 OK，等一下，我要到那个培训给位，你有培训给位啊？
patient 给我有。
啊，我到上面去找。
哦，OK，
那还是很好的东西，你们他也是常用，对不对？也
呃，
不，你
我是
们那也
刚刚
不错
我是刚刚才设好的，因为我的那个 Newton Wellesley 那个医生跟我讲，他说你在
哦
Gateway 上面可以 find 很多 information，而且
哦，对
他说，
对对，
他叫我跟他以后的联络都是从 Gateway 那边联络。
哦呀呀，我们这是现在是我们的，怎么讲？差不多一个礼拜要进去好几次的
哦，我都是今年才开始，以前完全不知道有这个东西的存在。
啊，所以都有开始的时候了
Right.
啊，真是。你现在说你还年轻嘛？
我不年轻呢，我想我大概也不会比你，我不知道你现在几岁，谭耀武。
我是80几了，83了。
哦，那我们稍微小一点。我先生80，我是76，
哦，也
77。
差不多上来了嘛。
是啊。
那你身体好耶？
No，那
你俩身体好，这么大年纪了，还这么少事情啊？
你知道，我跟我先生，我们每天早上打太极。
哦，你在哪？你是打哪一个？
杨氏88。
杨氏，我也在打呀。
你在哪打？
我没有每天打，
你在哪里？
我是熊市的，杨氏下面的熊市，好
哦
像。
，I see。
你知
你在？
道潘台春吗？
我知道。
我跟他学啊。
哦，那
对啊
他现在你们在哪里练习呢？
在家里，
哦，在家里。
当然我们用在证上面。
哦，Zoom，OK，OK。我们是在一个 senior center，那个
哦
场地非常好，我们大概有about 40 people。
哦，
Yeah，我本来是
那你
想去跟你
那你
们走路，但是我们每个礼拜四都要打太极，就没有办法去。
你在深圳的那时候打太极是吧？
Right，very good。
哦，
那个场地真是太好了，我们打了那么多年啊，我觉得那个地方的场地是
你在
最好。
哪里真读？
我们是在
为什
南部，
么
没有 Westwood 地方太小，所以我们在南部有一个地方叫 Randolph，我不知道你晓不晓得这个 town。
乱到不知道？
嗯哼，
那你去很近吗？
我去要半个钟头，
哦，
我走128，然后走到 South Shore Plaza。
嗯哼，
嗯哼，但是我觉得那个场地是最好的。我以前是跟那个有一个从大陆上来的，是不是林老师啊？林正涛。
哦，你说你以前学过，
我就跟他学，他其实
哦
他在 GBCCA 教二胡，
哦
他也教太极，他还教太极剑。
哦哦，那不这样，我觉得打太极拳还是蛮好的
非常好。
呀，我觉得
所以我觉得我们现在就是说要学到怎么样的 balance，那
啊哈，
就不会摔跤了。摔跤你也不会说受伤的很厉害。
对对对，我也不知道，是说是因为我学过怎么样，我摔过2跤，没有摔很深，就是。
哦，OK， 要小心小心，现在不能摔跤。
摔跤是千万不行，千万不
That's
行。
really 这是最忌讳的一件事情。
呀，我先把他的他的名字找出来。怎么这么少？奇怪，你等一下啊。哦，他这也不照alphabetical来的。哦，他照 first name 来。哦，找到。OK， 有电话。他叫 Marsas。
Last name 不 first name Martha。
OK， 等一下啊，这也是妙啊。Marsas 是他的 first name。Martha。
OK Martha
Martha Dyer。 他
Dyer。
电话是857。238。3838。
OK， 好，非
所以
常谢谢。
他在3个地方。
我希望他会收新病人。
OK， 他有 Mass General 有2个诊所，一个是在Newton Wells， 一个是在 Watsons。他也在那里，就是那个 Costco 旁边那个。
哦，知道了。
你去过没吗？
我去过，我们家去 Newton Wells 里就比较近。
对，你就说那个这2个都很好。我们也常去 Mass General， 因为 Mass General 在 52nd Avenue 的地方不要停车费。
Right。
Free parking。 而且我也比较新，所以我验血什么我们都跑那边去先。
OK。
那个他还有一个在 Oak Bob， 不知道在哪。
不知道。
在 Masavia。所以很妙，他名字也叫 Masa。
汤大哥，你住在威冷是吧？
对。
你们就一直没搬了，就住在威冷。
我们在这个房子住了我们在威冷住了52年。
Oh my goodness！
在这个房子住了42年。好久了。
我那天听到一个 seminar， 他说，我们年纪大的人可以到汤里去，告诉他我是哪一年出生的，他就应该把你的 property tax 的 rate frozen 在2024。Is that correct？
我不晓得呀，
这是
可以去
刚刚
问一
出来。
下。你是到哪里去问到的？
我没有到哪里去问到，在网上好多现在，他就讲说他是，这是唯一对老人家不需要看收入的好处。
你说你告诉他你是哪年生的？
对，你就告诉他你是哪一年生的，你说我要frozen 买他的 property tax 每年都增加的嘛 ，right？
对。
他说你就告诉他你是哪一年出生，他就无条件的要跟你填一个 form， 好像叫1980 SS form。OK， 然后你填完了以后，他就会 frozen 你的那个 property tax rate 在2024年，他就不可以再跟你增加。另外还有一点，他就说学区房它的 rate 也会增加的，对不对？那他也会因为你的出生年月日，他会帮你 frozen 在那个地方，不会再增加。他说好像那个时间很短呢，他的 window 只有 45 days. If you didn't do this, 它 still goes up. 它这个好处，它不会让你，它不会去告诉你，你要自己问。
哦，你现在就要做，今天就要去问了。
对，现在就要去做，他是这样讲。
OK。
他是讲说，他希望你不知道，那你可以donate更多的钱给他们。
OK。
Right？ 因为我们现在小孩子又不住在这里，学校我们又不用他的 facility，right？
那你做了没有？
我没有，我昨天我还在跟我先生讲，我说我听到这个 seminar， 我告诉他，他说那你就赶快去做，好像又是我的责任，所以我要去做，所以我知道了，我就告诉你，你就赶快去做。
OK，多谢。我听了他们说，我一直都没有 action， 我这一拖又拖掉了。
对，他说你们这些老人家 income 已经都很 limit 的了，能够少交就少交 ，right？
对啊。
所以我说这么大的好处，为什么他不通知我们？他说没有人会通知你，他希望你不知道。
OK， 那我明天去。
你去问他，你就说我的出生年月日是这样，他好像有这样分：1940年、1950年、1960年，他都有 different 的好处。
我听说最近在那个云鹤社，你是云鹤社的吗？对不对？
是
有你有没有上你有Line 对不对？
有。
上面好像是云鹤社 Line 上有人贴了一个 video。
现在我已经听到第3次了。
不
同的人在讲。
OK，
那我相信应该是事实。
OK，
反正 doesn't hurt， just go there and tell them
我要去问一下，明天去问。
OK， 那你假如 confirm 的再告诉我们一声，有什么
好
difference， 就是说你可以告诉大家。
OK，
反正有消息，我们大家就互相交换一下。
互相联络呀。
Right，help each other。
好，太好了。
OK，nice chat with you。Nice
chat with you。你收到我 email， 你也是给我回一个，我就记得你的名字跟那个。
好，我的英文名字就叫 May，M-A-Y。那我先生他姓韩，所以我就用他的 last name 了。
好。
OK。好，
你就寄给我，不只有靠 email 我才记得。
还有另外一件事情，像他今天讲的我们可以donate一部分钱给 GBCCA 或者是
对
什么社团，我也好过给 Uncle Sam 嘛 ，right？
你说什么？我没听清楚。
我的意思就是说，我们宁可把这个钱捐给 GBCCA， 我都不要给 Uncle Sam。
对。
但是我不希望会 affect 到我的那个税率呀，right？
为什么会影响你的税率
？OK，
就是说你等于说是那笔钱都不会影响，不会，就是说会减少
我的税率。
也不会减少，就是说你那笔钱就不见了嘛，对不对？你抖了3000块钱，就说你的
那我捐出去之后，我的税率会不会降低呢？因为 income 就减低了。
你不会降低，也不会增加。唯一会降低的就是你明年的那个 RMD 就少了。
对呀，
那就会
RMD 少，
那你那个就税就少了，
税就会减少啊。
对，
因为我们现在付税付很多啊，是不是这样？
你就说你在银行里有100万，
我现在付税是付 24%。
你100万，你 RMD 叫你拿出5万块，那是24%的，对不对？
不是，我要拿出，我先生也要拿出啊，所以2个人加起来
都算一起嘛，我就算一起好。OK， 就是你们2个加起来有100万。 你 RMD 说55，我随便讲了，是5万块。OK，
RMD 3万、4万、
并且
7万、7万。
听不见了
我说 RMD 是7万块。
啊？
Can you
我没听清楚。
我说我们的 RMD 加起来是7万块。
对，那你明年的话，那个你只要一下子 ，suppose 你捐个4万块给 GBCCA 的话，那你明年的RMD 就少了4%，你的打税当然也就少了，就这样子看了，税率不会减少，税率就是还是照原来的税率，但是拿出来的钱不打税，安库上赚不到便宜，这样子，
OK，
所以还是蛮好的，
也好，谢
所以这样，
谢。
尤其是你是需要想捐钱，那何必浪费呢？对不对？
捐给我们自己的同胞。
哎呀
Yeah，
，OK， 好，那
OK， 好，
随时联络。
OK，keep in touch。OK， 好，拜拜。
谢谢。好，拜拜。下次不要这样子嘛。
刚刚是谁啊？
我打电话那个朋友开收音机开着。
哦，刚刚是谁嘛？
等一下，我把电话挂了。是叫一个美
红啊。
你等一下哦。
要去走路吗？
对啊。哈哈哈哈。transcribe。transcribe 好像，我没开它就没有了。
好，陆续，你现在在哪里啊？哎，你现在在哪里啊？在加州啊，我1号回来，我1号回来。1号就回来啊？